movie podcast hosted by inebriated people. That's Kai with the cracking voice and Heather's touched by evil. One thinks he's Spider-Man, the other is a ninja. It's the Man I Love Fun podcast, it's the MILFcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to MILFcast. This is oh my goodness,
movie podcast hosted by inebriated people. That's Kai with the crack.
There we go. Hello everyone and welcome to MILFcast. This is the Man I Love Fun podcast. The podcast where we don't do movie reviews. Nope. It's a place where people like fun get together and deal with that shit, because this is no longer the Man I Love Films podcast. After 11 years, me and my co-host who is here with me today, the Robin to my Batman, the Batman to my Robin, say hello, Heather Baxendale.
Hello, Heather Baxendale.
I've already butchered this so hard.
That's awesome.
Like right out the gate. It really wouldn't be our show unless we did.
Exactly.
So anyway.
It's fun.
Yeah. That's pretty much how I expected things to go. Let's go ahead and, let's spend a moment with you. How's that sound? All right, let's do it.
And now it's time for A Moment with Heather.
All right, Heather. So we've been doing this podcast. So Heather and I started doing the Man I Love Films podcast in July of 2010. Heather was my first guest, and she came on as co-host, I think, around episode 8, 9, 10, something like that. 10 years later and 100 plus episodes later, here we are. So we were evaluating the show and what we were doing, and we just realized we wanted to do kind of the same thing we're doing, but we didn't want to be trapped in by films, and we wanted to have a good time. And we took a couple hiatuses during doing the show because life got rough for us, and luckily we worked it out. We made better lives for ourselves. We're in good places now. When we came back because we missed each other. And we wanted the show to be fun, and that was our main priority. So that was part of the reason for changing the name. That was part of the reason we did this, to have a good time. This is also stupid. I'm totally nervous. We've done this 11 years. We're probably in front of 4 people, and I'm slightly nervous. So give me 5 minutes, and I'll be slightly buzzed and won't give a shit. Anyway, I love Heather Baxendale. This is my moment with Heather. So Heather, typically we use the moment with Heather to talk about me, but not today. We're going to talk about us. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what's going to be happening with the show now that we've changed everything?
Okay, I'm going to read some of this because otherwise I would definitely not be trusted to not screw everything up, because that is what I do.
I've already done a great job of that, so don't even worry about it.
I know. You've set the bar so low that even I might.
You could just
I still will. I'll just go lower with it. All right. So like I said, we came back again, like at I think the beginning of quarantine, and said, hey, I miss you, because we always miss each other. And we started doing the show again and realized this is really great. But also we realized, we do have a lot more to say now than just movie stuff. Plus, I think people might get tired of us talking about movies, since Kai and I typically kind of like all the same things.
We've discussed aliens and shit at great length for 10 years.
Yes. So we have other things to say. We have other thoughts. They might not be interesting, but they'll be fun. So this is kind of what is changing. We are going to do this live stream. I think what we're going to do is we're setting right now about once a month. We're going to do it at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific time, which, if works out, then we'll keep it here. If not, we might be flexible and swap it around.
And
maybe not.
That's strictly for the podcast. So when we have a guest on and do our podcast that we record.
Yes. And we will now have the video afterwards. It will be up on YouTube, so you can watch a video if you missed the live stream. But you should come for the live stream, because it's more fun to see things go crazy and wrong on live TV.
Very wrong.
And you will be able to download the podcast just like you usually do, regular audio afterwards. I will be sharing all those social media and ways on social media and all the ways that you can do so. So you will be able to find us.
We're going to a new host. We're leaving our old host, going to a better host. We're going to put it on more platforms for you guys to absorb. The main thing was, a lot of it is just watching my kids, the way they absorb podcasts and entertainment nowadays. It's not just through audio. So we wanted to make it available to people that consume this in different ways.
Because I want you guys to all see when I pick my nose, subconsciously.
It's going to happen.
That's why I'm here. See, I said it. So now I have to do it eventually. Okay. So the format too, it's going to be pretty much the same. We're going to still do a what have you been doing lately? We'll have a Serial 7, which is what I always call it. And all those things will be pretty much the same. Yeah. And yes, we will also be doing weekly shows on Wednesday nights. They will not necessarily be a regular show with a guest. It'll just be me and Kai shooting the crap. Likely talking much gibberish
doing
and
some
chaos.
fun shit. We've got some fun ideas, and we don't know yet if we're gonna post that stuff or put it on the audio cast. It may be strictly for the live stream, but that's fine. We'll figure that out. Yeah,
we'll just come on and hang out with you guys on Wednesday nights and do exactly that, because I think that would be a lot of fun. And for the most part, it will be pretty much the same show. I think I touched all the bases. Kai, did I do all the magical things?
I don't know.
I think I did.
I got distracted by the chat. This is the fucking problem. And I've like, my first thing I said to Heather is like, okay, we're gonna do Twitch, but whatever you do, don't get distracted by the chat. And the first thing I did was get distracted by the chat. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's in the chat. Thank you to all the commenters. Thank you to everybody turned in for a first show. There's a lot of people coming here and have one random person for a first show. We've got a ton of people in there talking and watching, and we're really grateful for that. If you don't, please go to our page and follow us. When we get to 50 followers, it opens up some more things that we can do here, so we would really appreciate that. But yes, Heather, I think you did a wonderful job. And I just want to say, Heather has been fantastic. Heather actually texted me a few weeks ago and apologized to me, and it was super sweet. And she said, I want you to know I'm sorry, because for years, you booked the guests, you wrote the show, you did the recording, you did the editing, you did all that. Over the past couple of years, Heather has been way more involved, throwing Series 7 questions, being like, what do you need me to do? Do you want me to get a guest? And then for this, she has been 150% like all in. This has been a dual effort, okay? And we have been working on this for like 5 weeks. It cost us money, time, sweat, tears, the whole nine, and I can't do it without her. I told her when I responded that MILFcast was mine. I created MILFcast, but I can't do it without Heather. So I'm grateful for everything she's done, and I love her to death. So I just want to say that in front of the 4 people that are watching. Thank you so much.
Okay, now I'm going to cry. And I thought I was just going to pick my nose.
Suck it up. God damn it. All right.
Back to picking my nose. Look at it. Look at it. It's my nose.
All right. So that's all great. That tells you guys what we're doing. Let's get into the fucking show. How's that sound?
Oh, Carl's here.
Typical outro with Heather. There you go.
This has been A Moment with Heather.
Okay, so I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. As I said, Heather was the first guest I ever had and came on about episode 9-10 to become my co-host. The third guest I ever had was our guest tonight and his wife back when they did a podcast years and years ago. Him and the doctor, I should say. You might know him as part of the group House of Lewis, unless you blinked on America's Got Talent. You might know him as the artist formerly known as Atheist. You might know him as the rapper named Rhymetime, but we just call him Scott Knopf because he's our friend. So say hello, Scott.
Hey, everybody. I just got Twitch.
Really?
So, yep.
This is your first introduction to Twitch?
This is my first Twitch. I'm following you. I'm in the chat. Come say hello.
That's so funny. You can live chat your own fucking Twitch stream.
We're twitching.
Yeah. Scott sucks so far.
So, Scott, like, what are you laughing about?
He just texted in the chat, Scott sucks so far.
I feel like you're doing really well. I feel like it was a good introduction. Please tell everybody that's not on the live stream, for the podcast audience, where they can get. So first of all, Scott's here because he's our friend. There's a connection we'll get into later with his music and what he's done recently. But his new album, Season 4, is out now. Please tell everyone that's not watching where they can get it online.
Yeah, you can get Season 4 on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes. If you want to pay for it, you can get it on bandcamp.com. Just look up Rhymetime Season 4 and you'll find me. And I'm sure they'll have all the links with the description of this episode. And yeah, we've got CDs and posters and t-shirts, all with Kai's artwork on it.
Yes.
And it's amazing. And it's right behind him, and it's on the corner of this screen here. And it's the best part of the album.
We'll get into that later.
Buy it to look at it, maybe to listen.
I can't wait to talk to you about this. I can't get there yet, though. Okay, so we are going to talk to Scott about the album. We are going to do the Series 7. Before we do all that, I'm really excited because our buddy Steve Bush has created a new intro for us. And I'm going to play that for you guys now.
What have you done lately? What have you been up to? What have you seen lately? What have you done?
All right, and I already screwed that up too because I didn't mute the thing that I'm supposed to mute so it doesn't echo. So doing Twitch proud. So
Magical.
this is where we talk about what we've done lately. Scott, is there something you've done lately that you feel compelled to speak of? Something fun?
I just bought tickets to music festivals, and
You're allowed to do that shit?
We'll see. That's the gamble. That's the fun part. You buy them, you get your flights, you get your hotels, and you fingers crossed that things are cleared up by September, October. We'll see. Utah's ahead of the game. I'm in two-shot gang. I'm all set, and so I'm feeling confident.
I'm two-shot Tuesday. This Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you're not even investing just to go to a show locally. You're doing flights and hotels.
I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm going to shows in California and Tennessee and all over the place.
What are you going to see?
I'm going to go see this the Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, and that's 2 nights of Metallica. My Chemical Romance are headlining a bunch of metal bands. And so I've got a friend that I try to see at least once a year who lives out there, and it's his genre of music. So we're going to go see that. I'm excited for 2 different sets for Metallica. I've never seen them. So that's what I've been doing lately, is just being optimistic for the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird too? Because I was talking about this with my family today. My wife is saying, so they pretty much follow my lead. I stay up on what the CDC is saying. My wife and I have autoimmune issues, so we've been super locked down. I haven't seen my mother. She's not been in my home. I don't see anybody. I know not everyone's like that. That's fine. That's how we're doing it. But we're starting to see that light at the end of the tunnel, and it's weird because the CDC is changing the rules as this whole thing's evolving, and we've gone from being in this stasis of not knowing what the world's going to look like or when it's ever going to open up to how is it going to open up and when's it going to open up and what's it going to look like. And it feels like it's almost changing every day because the numbers are changing drastically. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, we my dad lives in California, and every time he would call me, he's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going to the record shop or something." And he's like, "What do you mean? Curbside?" And I was like, "No, the stores are open." And we barely shut down here, and now everybody's getting their shots, and I don't know, it's just a tiny state. And but the Bay Area, my friend, that's where I grew up, and everything is just shut down. I saw Amoeba in Hollywood just reopened, which was cool. That was a light at the end of the tunnel for me, of going okay, it's making its progress. But I have a coworker in Wisconsin, and at least as of a week and a half ago, they hadn't even finished getting vaccines to all of their medical staff.
Oh God.
So they were still so they were so far behind. I had already had my first shot, second one scheduled by the time, and there were still doctors and nurses trying to get vaccines.
Well, and Michigan's looking at another possible lockdown, right, Heather?
Oh my gosh, yes. It's just F tier. And literally the response of half the population is, well, if you're going to tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go do it right now, just to be defiant. It's like children. And it's just making it worse, and it's making more chaos where we're not being asked a lot. Right now, they're just saying, maybe don't go to restaurants for the next 2 weeks because we're hitting 9,000 new cases a day.
Wow.
Which, yeah, it's insane. The schools opened up, all the schools opened up a couple months ago, and all the sports did. And they're doing a lot to try and monitor those things. Some schools are. But oh, look at that. My eyes just went to the back of my head. It's Demon Heather. But I'm back. But yeah, it's really hard. And meanwhile, I've been pretty limited to the people that I've seen over the last year and stayed within the same little bubble. And even though I don't know what they're doing or the people that they see are doing, so you start opening that spectrum up, and it becomes kind of crazy to think about. But today was the first day that I actually thought about doing something and going somewhere for the first time in a while. My brother asked if I wanted to go see a comedy show with him in October or November. And I don't even know what that looks like, but I just said yes, because I want to be optimistic too.
Yeah. Here we went to see a comedy show. We just saw Michelle Wolf a week ago.
Oh, she's fantastic.
What
She
was
was
it?
the
What was it
best.
like? She is great, by the way. What was it like though? Did they do spacing? Was it limited seating? How did they handle it?
Yeah, so they have like the long bar seats, so rows of long bar seats, and they were just taping off like 2 seats, and then the rest of the table was empty, and so it was super limited capacity. But then it was still weird looking out at. We had seats that were like up above, looking down, and it was the second people sat down, no masks. Like Whitney and I had our masks on the whole time, even though we're vaccinated. I don't know what the protocol is for that. We're
You're just
like,
protecting other people because you could asymptomatic.
Yeah.
It's not gonna fuck you. It's gonna fuck somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. And Whitney and I never got it. And Whitney teaches high school, and almost every teacher in her department got it. Like it ravaged that school. Got the football team. They had to close a play down. They had to do all this stuff and lock down, open back up, lock back down, open back up. Somehow she never got it. I work from home, so the only person I was seeing was her. So I didn't get it. And now our close friend group, no one in our close friend group ended up getting it, which is kind of a miracle.
If you're never going out and she doesn't give it to you, and you get it, that looks really weird. That makes it just look like you're cheating or something. So that's good that you didn't do that. I've been the same thing. So I literally have a post on Instagram that's like 10 days before the lockdown and March 17th last year, where I posted, I finally booked my, like, with the exception of WonderCon, which I had for the following year, every event I wanted to do, I had booked. And it was going to be our biggest year ever. Not one of them went. And then even this year, it's all up in the air. So they're all like, what do you call it? Sound like, whatever. This is old age. I forget words. So everyone is booking their shows now in December and November, and they're bottlenecking. That was the word I was looking for. They're all bottlenecking in the same weekends.
Heather, did I just see boobs on your TV?
Oh, you might. I have Witcher on in the background.
God damn it.
You know what, though? I can't see it in the Twitch. I can only see it in the Zoom.
Oh, that's even better. Oh, yeah, you definitely
If you could
did.
rewind
He's with
that
his prostitute
and play it
right
again,
now.
that'd be
I
great.
totally could do that because I'm a good friend.
That's how bad it is. Scott's watching Witcher in the background of your fucking Zoom.
Well, I'm sorry. It
Well,
was
it's
a
a tit.
compelling scene.
Listen, I am not going to complain about having to rewatch Geralt or her again. Here we go.
That's awesome. I hope you get to go to shows. I really feel good. They're saying California is going to be completely open June 15th. And we're doing
Wow, that's sooner than I thought. That's really soon.
Yeah.
Even if they don't hit that date, just knowing that they're headed that way.
Yeah, we went from like 60,000 cases a day to like, I think we're around 2,000 now, which is insane in 2 months. So to think
I
where
think
we'll
we're
be in
down
2
to
months.
like 300, 400 a day here. Like,
Yeah, because you have a lot of mountainous areas.
Yeah, we're just like population-wise, we're just small. So.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah,
I hope you get to go. What about Heather? What is something you've done lately?
All right, so I haven't been playing video games much lately, and I've found it difficult to get invested in new games. And I was actually talking with your lovely wife about this earlier, about how going back to certain media is kind of like comfort food, visiting, old shows that you've seen 100 times, but you want to watch anyway because you just know it's there. Books, those kinds of things. But video games, that's time consuming. And I don't mean playing multiplayer because I'm too old and I can't deal with it anymore at all. I can't deal with people fighting, and I just no time for it either. So I pulled out an oldie. It was the game that actually got me to start playing multiplayer games. And I pulled out the first Gears of War. And I threw in that campaign, and I think it came out in like 2006. My second born did not sleep at all. So I was up all night and I was just killing monsters and playing the multiplayer game. And then 2 came out, and Horde, which I still think is the greatest multiplayer game ever, solidified my obsession with the campaign. And then I think it was 2011 or 2012, 3 came out. Now, what happened from the first campaign to the second and the third had like incredible advances in technology. The characters became actual people. You could see emotions in their faces. So when all these big moments happen, you're actually really invested in what's going on. And I'm playing through them all. I'm playing it on, I've beat them all on Insane. This was a lifestyle for me for a decade. And I'm playing it on like casual and normal now, just running through the whole entire series. and I've made it to the end of 3 right now, and it's been really fun. And I even caught myself with a little tear the other day with Dom.
You
and
cried?
3. Yeah. I'll get emotional over some video games. That's a lot of time and investment you put in there. I had some emotional moments in Mass Effect. I think when Soap dies in Call of Duty, that's brutal. Some Mass Effect moments. I mean, I bawled at the end of Mass Effect the multiple times I've played that. There's a yes, Tapeworm's got an ass.
He's got a great ass. Sorry.
You see Baxendale ass regularly. Our moons are always out. But yeah, it's still just as great to play. I'm loving it, and I'm gonna hit 4 and 5, which that's the newer ones that are out there for the younger generation to get into it. But my car's name is Marcus Phoenix, and I have cog tags hanging from my rearview mirrors. So yeah, so it's been nice. It's been a nice little escape to just go shoot monsters and be groovy. Plus, it's third-person shooter, which I prefer. I love third-person
I'm
shooter
so
games.
bad with fucking video games. I actually bought like 4 video games on Black Friday that I haven't even touched. And one of them's Predator, and I really want to. Now, part of that is my wife has completely taken over the bedroom as a part of COVID because we were work from home. So the living room is mine and the bedroom is hers. So I can't just go back there and start playing PS4. So I got to play a little bit of Rogue Squadron and shit. But I really want to get on that Predator game. She needs to leave that room occasionally.
You've had that for a while. Yeah, you picked that up like I think before
Black Friday. Literally before
Yeah,
Christmas.
so I'm right. I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I remember when you picked up a video game.
But I don't play video games often. I buy a game, play the shit out of it, and then I stop until one intrigues me. I don't consider myself a gamer, which is the worst thing you probably fucking say on Twitch, but I don't give a shit. I like video games, but I don't like all of them. I find one I like, I play it till I'm done, and then I'm good until another one strikes my fancy.
Yeah, same.
Good.
I'm terrible at video games. Awful. If it's got a puzzle in it, even if it's open world, I don't even know how to play Smash Brothers. It's so bad. I just got Mario Tennis. That's the level I'm at now.
Mario Tennis is great though.
I think the last open world ones I did were Destiny and the Star Wars one, where you go shoot people a ton. You know that one? Where you shoot people a ton? All right, my turn. All right, so my thing was I've been watching The Americans.
Yes.
Okay, so we just finished season 1. And it's actually really good. If you get to episode 10, it's fantastic. They're all really great, but at episode 10, everything they had done through that first season finally started to intertwine and be a thing. It's kind of a fucked up premise, and it's sweet how they play with it. My wife, or was it my wife or me? I can't remember. One of us said it kind of feels like The Sopranos. We could feel this becoming a whole intertwined, really sad ending to all this shit. But that's not necessarily what I came to talk about. The fact is, COVID has got me to the point where I'm watching FX shows. That was the thing that stood out to me. So I have HBO Max, I've got Hulu, I've got Prime, I've got everything, right? I'm to a point where I'm watching FX shows. And it's not to say that FX shows are bad. What I'm saying is all that's left is CBS Access, All Access, or Paramount Plus, whatever it is now, right? And then CW, and I'm fucked. And I say that mainly because our buddy Carl's watching, and he's probably going to kill me for that because he loves those two things.
Yeah, but Supernatural is on CW, so it gets a pass for me.
Supernatural, I'm so tempted to do because it's been on for 15 years.
Justified is on FX, and Justified is one of the greatest shows ever on television.
That is good. But I'm saying that's how, I'm running out of shit. So I'm so glad the fucking vaccines are coming and shit's going to open up again.
The Americans is one I think I started. I think I made it to the first couple episodes and I abandoned it and never returned.
That's what I did.
But
that's what I do with Expanse, and we went back, and now I've seen that, and that was fantastic. COVID has been really cool to go back and see all the shit you didn't have time to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You watch either of you watch that show on Hulu, Pen 15?
Penis?
No, but yes.
Not yet.
It's the best. It's two girls in their 30s playing junior high students, and all the rest of the cast are real junior high kids.
And it's not like a 21 Jump Street situation?
Exactly. But in kayfabe, their characters are kids too. And it's the most awkward trip back to 6th, 7th grade ever. It's really funny. It's so good.
Okay, I'm gonna put that.
Someone
one
in
on
the
this.
chat has seen it. Come on, chat.
Come on, chat. All right, so I would recommend The Americans. That's pretty much all I have to say.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, so let's get into the next thing we're gonna do. This is so much harder now. I have to mute shit and do things, but let's do it anyway. All right. So this brings us to the end of what we've done lately. It's time to get into. I'm bringing back an old one for this, so you old school listeners are gonna know what this is.
Today's general discussion topic.
We stopped using that one a long time ago.
It's a lovely one.
Yes, it is. So we brought Scott on because we want to talk about the album. So Scott, first of all, I told you. Let me show it real quick. If you guys have not bought it, here it is. Here's the back. Here's the side.
It's so good. The artwork is really incredible.
We're not even talking about the artwork.
So are the
No.
tunes though. Both are amazing.
Here's the thing. We end on me. We start with you. This is about you
Okay.
and your music first, and then what's really important, my art. So if you guys are
That's how
lucky,
we go first.
buy the CD. Go get the CD. Like you said, you can listen to it on Spotify, but please go buy a copy and support him because Scott is a fantastic artist. I have been a fan of Scott since fucking day one. If you're really lucky, you got the platinum. This is when you sell like 1 million copies. You get one of these. Since I was involved, I get one of these. So, wanted to talk to you about the album. Doing so well on Twitch tonight. Feel fantastic about this. Let me get to my thing here. So, Heather, you finally got to
Yes.
listen to the album. I texted Scott when I heard it. I said it was his best album. I'm a big fan of Scott since day one. I love this one. I think it's his best, and that's not even me being like kiss ass because I got to do some shit with him. What did you think of the album?
Oh my god, I loved it. I listened to a couple of the tracks on it. I watched the video, which oh my god, I love the video so much. I told everybody they needed to watch it after I saw it. It was so great. I've shared it everywhere. It's so great. It's a great song too, and it's so catchy. It stays with you for days. But I had a smile on my face the entire time. I listened to it from start to finish, and I had it on while I was working. But I kept stopping and taking like little notes, and I don't understand my own language, so they only make kind of sense to me now.
Fair.
But it was absolutely fantastic.
Thank
I
you.
liked the get drunk, make a song. That
Yeah.
was probably my favorite.
I got drunk so many times to make that. I got drunk when I wrote each verse. I got drunk when I recorded it. Yeah, it was.
I want to talk about that one more in depth, so hang off on that one for 1
And
second.
now it's so good though.
So
It's so good.
it
sounds
is so
good.
fucking good. Like top to bottom, it's fucking great. But I'll deal with that in a second. So first thing I want to talk about is it's been actually a little bit of a while since you've made an album.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention something I noticed when I was listening to it. So there were some lyrics, I wrote it down. Lyrics that you put in there that made me feel like you're like in a really great place right now. So first of all, there's the like automatic shout out to Whitney. There's always a Whitney reference in an album or a collab somewhere. So there's the Whitney wrote a book, got her PhD, so I call her doctor now. She's a genius. I fucking love that. I love my wife. Anything artistic I do, I'm always gonna fucking express that to her. So much has changed, so much to stay the same. I'm a homeowner, happy with who I became. Bought a home, now we're Rose Park residents. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never thought that would happen.
Yeah,
I grew up in the shittiest trailer. Like holes in the floor to the ground, like raccoons were inside and outside animals. Like we were so poor.
You were going for the full rabbit experience or what?
Yeah, it was just like, it was real crazy. Like, I don't know. My parents, neither of them owned a house. So I never grew up thinking I would own one, especially in California. Like, and then, moved here and I met Whitney, and Whitney's parents are, homeowners. And she was like, of course we'll buy a house. I was like, I don't even think they'll let me. I don't even think that's.
They're just going to see my name on paper and say that's not a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, no. We know where you come from.
Not that guy.
Yeah, when we bought the house, that was the best feeling ever. Yeah. Oh, it was great.
This last one I got. I'm not cocky, overconfident, conceited, or smug. I just look in the mirror and see someone I love. This sounds like you're in a really good place when you're writing this. I'm wondering, why did you decide to do it now? Is that part of it? Were you in a good place? Had it been a while? Like, what was it?
It was weird. Like, I was coming out of a bad place. Probably the worst place I've been in, definitely as an adult. So, like, the opening the opening intro where I'm talking to the doctor about like having a midlife crisis, like that was true. And she was like, "You're not close to midlife." And I was like, "I could absolutely die at 70.
How old were you?
I'm 36.
No, how old were you at the time?
Oh, 35.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it was recent. And I was like, "You really don't think my fat ass could die at 70? And she was like, ugh, maybe. So it was just, so there were songs like, the intro, Let Me Chill. Like there were just songs like where it was like the first draft of most of the songs I wrote at the beginning were so like melodramatic and emotional. I was just like, so like, I don't know. I had a job I hated, and it put me in like a bad mental space in probably 2.5 years ago. And then I got into a new job, and it was almost like, you know, that feeling when you're like cramming for a midterm or finals or something, and you're in this stressful place for so long, but you get through it. But then like the week after finals, you get sick, like you get a cold, your immune system is. That was my brain. Like once I finally pried myself off of that job, then I was just like, oh, I am worn out. But then COVID came at the perfect time, and I started playing around with songs. I hated everything I wrote, and I was rewriting, and then as I got happier, the songs started getting happier, and then by the time it came out, I was like, this is awesome. So it was good. Yeah, I was able to like look at things like buying the house and stuff like that, and the song where I recap everything that happened over like the past 4 years. Like I can't believe it was 4 years between albums, because I was doing lots of shows. I was doing, you know, cool things, but we were on TV, like, but it was an interesting process for sure.
Can I cut in there real quick? So let's talk about this. So literally, the America's Got Talent, it's like a blink and you miss it thing because of how often you guys weren't on screen for a minute. You guys make fun of it all the time. It's fucking great. Yeah. What was it like? Your eyes are in fucking love with Reba McEntire when she throws you off the show. Like, what was that like? Tell me about it.
Yeah, we had heard a rumor because she was the secret judge. So we knew we'd meet the regular 4 judges, but then Reba, we found out like the night before, somebody was like, hey, you know, they're bringing on like celebrity guest judges. And we didn't know. And they were like, we think it's George Lopez. And we're like, okay. And we were like getting info from like some of the PAs and the crew that was working, like, oh yeah, like we think it's George Lopez. And we get out on stage and it's Reba McEntire. And I was like, this is hilarious. Like, we're about to rap about how we're all going to die to Reba McEntire. Super weird right now. She's
been there too because of Tremors. She's been on the edge of life.
Oh, and she shows up in so much now, and I'm just like, my old friend Reba. I'm glad she made it. Like, I just bought that like new 6-disc Tremors edition, and it's so awesome. Yeah, and anything I see her in, I love her. No, the only one I hold grudges against is Howie Mandel. That's
fair. It's Howie fucking Mandel.
Tell me why.
But I want to know why.
Air our first episode, but in our first episode, he was a dick. He just didn't understand like what we were doing, and he was just like, white rappers. And then it was cool because Scary Spice was just like, told him to shut up, said we're moving on to the next round, was like really complimentary. Scary Spice became my favorite Spice Girl that day. She was so cool.
Who was it previously?
I was always a Ginger Spice fan growing up. Mm-hmm.
I was Scary.
I was always Scary.
She was my girl. Yeah.
I like that frizzy hair. If you were a Girl Scout, I'd be all over you.
Yeah, she was hot and she was fun. And I liked her clothes. I would have worn what she wore.
The coolest moment that we had on America's Got Talent is when we came out for our second. So in our first round, we did a House of Lewis song called Shake Face. And then the second round, we walk out, and before the cameras start rolling, Heidi Klum sees us and starts singing Shake Face.
What the fuck?
It was fucking awesome.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
We walk out and she was like, shake your face. And I was like,
with her German accent? That was a good German accent.
We're about to be famous. And we were about to get kicked off. And they didn't air our first episode. So I was wrong on that one, but it was a cool moment.
That's fantastic.
Did she do her homework or?
I think she just remembered from the first round, like
that's so sweet.
that song's memorable, and we were falling all over each other on the stage, and just like really went crazy. And yeah, apparently from week to week it just stuck with her. Yeah, that was awesome.
Since we're already a little bit sidelined, first of all, I want to know, how long are you going to carry Donnie Benelli? Like, how long are you going to continue to like carry him through all your songs? Secondly, can you tell us all the guys in House of Lewis and a little bit about them?
Yeah, absolutely. So they're a group of guys they were making music before I was. Chance Lewis started it. He makes he made almost all of the beats on season 4.
Really?
Well, no, that's not true. Maybe about half. And then he did all of my Topanga album. And he's so talented. He's incredible. And then Donnie Benelli, we call him the talent. He can sing, he can rap, he can draw, he can do everything.
I'll fucking take him on the drawing.
He works for a company he does like a lot of Photoshop work for this company called Forest Lab, and they've got great shirts. And Apt Adam, he's the darker one of the group. He's emotionally, not skin tone. I think.
Who is the darkest skin tone?
Yeah, but he's got, if you like grew up listening to Atmosphere or Idea or Brother Ali, like that, he's that style of rapper, and he's so damn talented. Then there's me, and then DJ Scratchmo is our DJ, and I was a solo act, and I met a couple of the guys at a show, and we just hit it off, and I started going to chances to make Topanga, and by the end they asked me to join the group, and then we went on TV and we went on tour, and we went. We opened for Snoop Dogg. It was we've done so much stuff. It's amazing.
Which I assume is inspired Party with Snoop Dogg.
That came second. So Snoop's my favorite rapper, hands down, forever. And so I made that Party with Snoop song, and then that song started to get around, and then the promoter of the Snoop Dogg show reached out to me, and he's like, I don't know if I can guarantee you'll party with him, but I can get you, to the opening spot on this show.
So you could open for him, but you can hang with him?
We hung out on his he like flew in to the show and flew back out. Like, I waved at him, and then we were on the side of the stage watching him, and then he gave us a bottle of rosé and then gave us some blunts. And so he was like, here you go, like gift from Snoop. And I don't smoke weed. It gives me panic attacks like crazy.
Okay, I don't know if I'd smoke it though, or I'd shellac it and keep that fucking thing forever.
That's a good point. We started passing it around, and I just held onto the guardrail, trying not to have a panic attack. Just like I was like, this is the best day, but it could soon be the worst.
The funny thing is, like, Snoop just has to have like a hefty bag full of like joints to give out to people as like throwaway thank yous, right? That's because of his image.
Yeah, it's like a business card to him.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
Totally.
Yeah, and it was the blunt was like the size of my forearm. It was insane.
This is the best story
Cheech and
ever.
Chong
You're
shit.
making me so happy.
Yeah, he was cool. He was super cool. But yeah, we did that. We opened up for Common.
I love Common.
He was so nice. Like, we did get to hang out with him, and he was.
I'm indifferent to Common. I'm gonna say it.
Common's one of my favorites.
As an actor.
Down.
As an actor.
Oh, I like him as an actor too.
I don't like him. I don't hate him. He's fine when he's there. He does a fucking great job showing up.
Have you ever seen the show? Probably not, because I think it's AMC or FX, but it's called Hell on Wheels, and he was on it, and he was incredible.
No.
Well,
we'll
put that on your list.
2 is probably the highlight for Common for me. Like, I thought he was great in John Wick 2.
He was in a later Terminator movie. I remember that.
Yeah, he was in Salvation. I was very excited to see him there. He pops up in stuff all the time.
I don't dislike him.
He was even in a Scrubs episode.
I would introduce him to my mother. I'm just waiting for, like, I guess the acting to take that next step. I want to see Common blow up.
I think his raps, like, he raps really slowly. Like, he's moved into this lane of like Oscar rap, where like he did the song for Selma, and like you can bring him to a place where non-rap fans are, and he raps so slowly that old white people can understand him. And that's my
it's so true though.
He's a better rapper than you're rapping right now, and he'll just slow it down. But super nice guy. Talked to us. He let us, like, I hung out on stage with him while he did his sound check, and yeah, he was the best.
I'm replaying to Juice Man. I have not seen Just Right, so I will put that on my list.
Yeah.
Want to go back for a second. So, going back to that again, like you and your wife. By the way, give Whitney my love. She's a wonderful person. I'm so happy for you guys. You've been together so long, and you're still so happy. I love that.
Yeah.
You guys were on my thing years ago, and you even wrote for a site that I had years ago, and to this day, you wrote one of the funniest posts I've ever read, and it was so like dry. I want to say it was like a Tom Cruise post. This is pre-rapping. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yep.
Where you worked the titles of every Tom Cruise movie into the flow of the sentence as if it wasn't even like, it didn't stand out.
Yeah.
It was fluid, right?
Yeah, I loved that post.
To this day, I love that one. But I remember, so I bought your album, the first one, back for the you guys that don't know, Scott was formerly known as Atheist. His first 2 albums came out under the name Atheist. And then what? You got sued by like a Norwegian metal band. What was it?
Yeah, it was. There's a metal band from Texas. When I started putting my stuff onto streaming platforms, it started going under their account, and so metal fans who were so excited for their favorite band's new album were getting like my Ninja Turtle raps. I guess I gotta change it.
Real quick, too. Best part about Nonstop is I didn't know you were dressed like a Ninja Turtle till I watched it twice. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
It was Michelangelo, right?
Yep, always.
Yep. It was Mikey. You were
best.
chucking.
So then, so I changed it to Rhyme Time, and I experimented with like hosting a YouTube like talk show, variety show, and it was called Rhyme Time Television. We shot 6 episodes and released 3. It was cool. We had Whit Hertford, who's the kid from, do you remember that scene in Jurassic Park where he's like, that thing doesn't look very scary, and Sam Neill takes the raptor claw and like runs it across his gut. Yeah, that little kid. Yeah, he was
fuck that kid for his lack of knowledge about dinosaurs. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was on Full House and one of the Freddy Krueger movies, so he was a guest on our show, and he was super cool, and like, yeah, it was really fun. It just was too expensive. There was no way I was going to make the money back like for this show, but I was glad I did it. But it was called Rhyme Time Television, and I was like, well, let's make like a family-friendly, like funny rap name, and that's where Rhyme Time came from.
I like it.
Yeah.
So going back like to that for 1 second. So I remember I sent you like a Facebook message after I heard the first album because I used to drive to school listening to Rappin' Forte's Players Club. And you sent me, or I bought Thanks for the Burgers. Tell the story a little bit about like why Thanks for the Burgers your slogan, what happened with that whole situation, because I actually think it's a funny story.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Rappin' Forte is a Bay Area rap legend. And I grew up in the Bay Area listening to Rappin' Forte. I was in the studio one day and my producer says, hey, I've got to put our session on pause. I've got another rapper who needs to come in and just do a quick like guest verse. I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't mind. And he's like, yeah, his name's Rappin' Forte. And I was like, it can't be the Rapping Forte. Like, and it was. And he came in and he was doing a guest verse for another artist. And I was like, I have to figure out how to get him on my album, like somehow, even for like a little thing. And so him and his crew, they were hungry. It was a Sunday and they didn't know where to go eat. And I was like, I got it. So I like flew across town to the best burger spot that was open. I got everybody like burgers, fries, drinks, everything. I brought it back for him and his whole crew. And we just sat around eating, and then he did the verse. And right before he left, I was like, hey, would you just like say something into the mic? And we had Wes put together like a little music thing, and he just talked about it. And he said, thanks for the burgers, because I just bought him burgers, and that's how I named the album. And yeah, rest was history. But that was huge. I grew up like idolizing that guy. And so I was like, okay, I had just started rapping. I mean, that was my first album, but I had been rapping for like a month at that point. And now Rappin' Forte's on my album. I was like, okay, this awesome.
Shit is only going to go sky high at this point. I literally stepped in the studio, Rappin' Forte came in and opened for me. So now like my shit's going to take off.
Yep. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I'm a big proponent now of like, I had thought about making music. I didn't really know how to do it. I easily could have found a different hobby and not done it, or just always said like, oh, I'll do it someday. Do it. If you have a hobby you want to do or anything, just go do it, because like I've done so much insane shit now because of like a one decision I made 6 years ago.
I do the same thing with art. Like people come up to me all the time and say, what do I do? I'm like, just go do it. If you think you're good enough, go do it. But you gotta be,
oh my gosh,
you gotta be professional about it. Like if you're gonna come right. You can't always get the best mic, but you get what you can get, and you try to give the best product you can get. Don't show up with some shit on like a sketch pad with lined paper, and try to sell that shit to people. Right. You know what I mean? So take it serious. But if you're gonna do it, just go put it out in the, like it's Robert Rodriguez, guerrilla filmmaking. Like you're gonna do it, go fucking do it. Don't say
do it the best you can with what you've got.
If you're a director, go shoot film, and you're a director. That's all that matters. Like what it is in the universe will make itself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the truth though. I get that a lot too, where people are like, well, what is it that you actually, do to get yourself to do this stuff? I'm like, you can have all the plans in the world, you can do all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you just literally have to do the shit. You have to.
Just do it.
And then once you do, it's actually pretty fucking rad.
Yeah, I was like new to Utah, didn't know anybody, had never made music, and I just spent, a year, 2 years getting to know everybody in the local scene that I could. I was like, I'm just going to meet everybody. I'm going to get integrated with them. And people who I met in that first year have put me on some of my biggest shows later on, and like we've made songs together. They've, all sorts of things. You just get to know people who are. My big thing is there's my big motto is there's somebody stupider than you doing what you wish you were doing.
Yes, there are. This is the whole thing. I went to Comic-Cons for years. And by the way, I just want to mention in our chat, our friend Jennifer said she's going to play this for her seniors. And I think that's fucking fantastic. Because the one thing you get a ton when you do anything creatively is how do I do that? And it's literally, there's no fucking answer. You put your shit out in the ether and it's good or it's not. But it really is, did you do your 10,000 hours? And did you care about it? And did you pursue it? Because a lot of people draw or rap or sing or do shit and they throw it out there and, it didn't take off and fuck that. That's not how it works.
No. And if you care about something too, and it means something to you, you're going to do it no matter what. Like for years, I wouldn't call myself a writer because I hadn't written anything in years other than copy for work, which is so soulless. But those are the kinds of things you do and you think, oh, well, I'm not. But yeah, you still are. Have I been published? No, but I'm still a writer. It's what I do. It's part of who I am.
And how do you quantify success?
Exactly.
I'm not Spielberg if I make films. I'm not Spielberg, but if I made a film and it did well, am I less than?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's room for all of it. The problem sorry, Scott, not to interrupt, but the problem I had is I went to Comic-Cons and I was like, and I hate saying this, but I was like, I could do it better than that guy. And then that guy would intimidate me. And I said, no. Even the guy I thought I was better than, he's just different. And I actually like some of his stuff. And there's room for that. And there's room for this guy that's better than me. And I don't have to be like that guy. There's room for what I have to contribute and a voice for what I have. And it all fits in here. And we should give it all to the world. And they'll pick what they like. And if I get 45 followers and he gets 1,000 and he gets 10,000 and he gets 3, that's fine. That's my place. But I put it out, which is more than most people our ages do.
Also, it feels really good to have 45 people tell you that you're good. Like, how many do we need? Like, we live in a world where, I just need one. Likes on something.
I'm with Kai. I need one. If one person says they like something I wrote, I'm like, oh, then it matters because it mattered to one person. Yes.
Unfortunately for you, that'll never happen. That's what's tough.
Yeah, and then with the internet, you got 15,000 people telling you you're a shithead. So,
yeah. Well, you know what? I actually was listening to Russell Brand's podcast not too long ago, and he was saying something along the lines of people who are successful, and he said, "You know what, mate? There's really not that much difference for some of the guys that didn't make it and some of the ones that did. A lot of times it just boils down to luck too. Like I'm not funnier than a lot of these guys who probably, never ended up going outside of the little shitholes he started in." He said, but I got lucky. So here I am now. And I think that's the truth too, especially when we have so many people and so many ways to see everything now too.
Yeah.
And you got to remember too, like with regards to music, how many one-hit wonders have a song that moved you?
Oh, for sure. And local artists that no one has heard of.
Yep.
Like some of my favorite songs are from people who get, 5 streams a month. And I don't know. I want to try to, for me, it was always like normalize calling yourself what you're passionate about, not what makes you money. Like it does not matter if I make money off this at all. I lose money on this stuff. Like it doesn't matter. Like, but if someone says, what are you? I'm working on, I wish I could say I'm a rapper, but the first question is always, you make money off that? And no, but like, that's what I am.
Bullshit too. In my opinion, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like stating your occupation as like who you are, that's horrible.
Well, and there's also the whole aspect of, and this is a whole side tangent we've gone down, but I think it's important. Like, success has a lot to do with opportunity and luck. Like right place, right time. I live in California. I don't live in LA. I guarantee if I lived in LA, I'd have a lot more opportunities than I do where I live. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to draw something and it's going to blow up at some point. My son was literally like, I really want to get a beer because he's 21 now, which is terrifying. But he's like, you guys are streaming? And I was like, you can get one if you get me one. So cheers, everyone on the stream.
That's fine.
Yes.
Cheers. Cheers, Java.
Yeah, this is MILFcast. It's not the Today Show. Okay. Anyway, let's bring it back a little bit. So the reason I brought up Thanks for the Burgers, I want to talk about Rapper Big Pooh because I know you're really excited to get Rapper. And I love the opening track to this song. So yeah. But I don't know Rapper Big Pooh, so tell me why that was a big deal for you and why you went with him. And it was fucking hilarious that he told you he doesn't fucking know who you are at the opening of the album.
Yeah. So you talk about like one-hit wonders who had an impact on you. That's exactly it. Like he had a song with his group called Little Brother in the mid 2000s, and it was on BET, and it had no business being there. It was so underground and backpacker and niche and. But I loved it. From all the things that were playing on BET back then, I was like, who are these guys? And I followed him ever since. And I just hit him up and I said, hey, will you record like a little thing for an interlude? Or I just tell everybody you don't know who I am. And he said, okay. And he did it in one take.
So that was your idea?
It was my idea.
Okay. That's great.
I just hit him up and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to use this for, but I'm working on an album, and would you just like introduce yourself and then just say whatever you want about how you don't know me? And that was one take. The only audio he sent just went right into the song, and I was like, he nailed that.
Did you send him music, or did he just lay that down just as is and it hit perfect?
Yep, he just like lit it into his phone. He just was like, fuck this guy. Like, I don't know this guy. And
it was a glorified cameo.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fucking great.
But then I had this other beat that I was working on, and I didn't know what I wanted to rap about. It sounded like it'd be good for an intro song. And so I was like, I wonder if this would fit well on it. And I literally just dragged it on top of the beat, and it lined up perfectly. And I was like, okay, that was perfect.
How does that work when you're laying out the album? Because you're obviously like, you have different ideas for different songs.
Yeah.
Like, how do you decide track 1, 2, 3, so on?
It changed all the time. I just had like a Excel doc where I would just start sliding stuff around. And when you write I'll always order, even if I've got 2 songs, I know what order they're going to go in on the album. But as new ones pop up, I always like the albums like really flow with one another. And like, I spent a lot of time like listening to the album in different orders to see like what goes into what and like where's the energy going. And people will say like put your best song first or second, so people click on your Spotify and that's what they want to hear. But
Fair.
If it doesn't, but if I think the best song should go 5th or 6th, I'll do that. And
I actually think the Pooh song is forgive me, let me go. Let me get the track title. Everybody's All Right. I can't memorize them all. Everybody's All Right is fucking fantastic opening song. Like, I'm so happy.
Okay.
Even at the end of that song, when it just plays out, I'm fucking so happy.
I think that one's my favorite. My favorite for a little bit was Been a Long Time.
Yeah.
And I was listening to them completely out of order too. I don't know why. But because I'm me, that's why. But yeah, it's both of those are so good. They make me feel good.
Yeah. Been a Long Time. A friend of mine from years ago made that beat, and he was
it's
always
so
sending
wonderful.
me beats, and I was always saying I'll definitely use these, and then it never ended up working. And then he knew I was putting out an album, and he's like, "Hey, here's one more batch of beats. Will any of these fit?" And then that one, I was like, "Okay, that's great." And I had no clue what to rap on it. It's one of the last songs that I did, but at the end of that song, it's a true story that like I went back home for a little small town in Central California, first time in like a decade. I hadn't been back since I was younger, and so I went back, and it was a huge nostalgia trip. I was just seeing my high school and seeing all these things, and seeing my tiny town had like started to get bigger, or a lot of it had stayed the same. And then I went to a comic book shop that I had grown up my whole childhood going to. I see the owner. He's older, he's fatter, he's balder, but it's him. And I am
time, Scott.
Yeah, that's exactly like I was just looking through comic books. I said hi, but I didn't like tell him who I was. And I was just looking through comic books, and he's like, "Yeah, it's been a
you
long
mean
time,
he
Scott."
remembered the white kid with the giant fro?
Yeah, he did.
That's all
But
that he would recall.
Oh, that's awesome.
I hadn't seen him since I was like 14, 15 years old. I mean, I couldn't believe it. He like remembered my name. He asked how my brother was doing, and I was like, I just turned around. I was like, "You know who I am?" And he's like, "Of course." And then he was like hurt. He's like, "Yeah, did you just stop reading comics or something?" And I was like, "Oh my God, no, I moved. Like, that's why I haven't been
Did you
around,
stop
like,
reading?
There was no comics where I moved. They're only They're only here.
Yeah, just like, I have to come back. Yeah.
That
so,
is hilarious. Like any guy who likes comics anyway ever stops liking comics. That
yeah,
doesn't
of
happen.
course.
Been a long time. Like, what are the ones I love? Like Everything's All Right. Where is it? Nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Big Headed Hatless, because I love the House of Lewis guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked Fast Forward. All that funky sound in the background was just sick. I loved it.
Is Fast Forward the one where you do about the whole thing about going to an interview and I can out rap you guys? Is that one, or am I mixing?
No, it's the one with Zai and I where we talk about the future, like everything takes place 50 years from now. And I got so specific about what I thought technology would be like 50 years from now. But Zai and I, similar story to Rappin' Forte, like he's from the Bay Area, legendary, like 8 million streams a month. Like it's just, he's huge. And one of my very ever first hip hop shows was a Zai and I show. And I was in the back, like freestyling, rapping with guys. And I was maybe 19, something like that. And I got to meet him, and he was super cool. And he invited me to come to his next show. And I've gone to a bunch of shows. And finally I got the chance to open for him. And we just caught up. We knew so many of the same people because I was so involved with Bay Area, hip hop shows. So I was like, what happened to this guy or that guy? And by the end I was like, would you ever like do a verse for me? And he's like, absolutely. Like, send me something.
That's so great.
Yeah, I was so geeked. I was like, couldn't stop smiling.
So then when you have to have the initial follow-up email that goes with actually like solidifying that handshake, is that awkward and weird for you?
Yeah, it was like we didn't have a beat for him, so I didn't have anything to send him. We started listening to his music and saw what tempo he likes to rap at, and what kind of like bass sounds he likes in it, and his stuff is a little like can be a little weird, so we put weird sounds in it, and I knew he could like tackle that topic, and so we just like custom made a beat that we thought he'd be good on and sent it to him. And he was like, this beat's incredible. And I was like, well, good, because it sounds a lot like your other beats. Like it was tailor-made for you. But that probably 6 months after that handshake, I was like, hey, reintroduce myself again. This is me.
What was his response to that?
Yeah, I was just like
he knows you?
His response was so cool. He was like, "Oh yeah, I remember you. Absolutely. Like, let's do it. Email it to me."
Isn't that fantastic to know that somebody like you dig and are into, and they're just like fucking normal? Like, yeah, fuck, I know you. Come on, let's do this. I remember everything I said and swore I'd do.
I met, when I was young, when I was probably like 18, 19, I met this rapper, Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5. And I stood in line to meet him. I was so excited. I was so young. He was like one of the first celebrities I ever met. I get to the front of the line, and for some reason, I just rapped one of his like lyrics to him. And then he just stared at me and was like, "Do you want a picture or something?" And I was like, "Yes, sir. I'm so sorry." He was nice. He was nice, but like so, like what I did was so awkward. And
And in your head, like, I'm gonna rap this. He's gonna be so fucking stoked that I did this. Yeah.
that was like
we're gonna
like
go get Denny's after this.
Yeah, totally. I was like, he's gonna be shocked someone listened to his early stuff, and he wasn't, and he just like handled it neutrally. And it took like 15 years for me to meet him again and be cool. So I think it goes a long way if you can just be cool. Keep your cool.
Yeah.
Or if you can be normal, you'll find that they're normal.
I can't be normal.
That's so great. I want to talk about like a couple other collaborators too before we move on, and we're probably going to run a little long on this show. By the way, just to mention the chat for 1 sec, Steve Bush, because I love Steve Bush, and we don't have this show without Steve Bush.
Steve Bush is the
He
best.
asked, "Do you like the new Underscores record?"
Say it again. Sorry.
He said, "Do you like the new Underscores record?" Do you know who the Underscores are? I have no idea.
I'm Googling it right now. I don't know. I don't know them. I didn't
Steve
even know
Bush is going to Google them, listen to them, and get back to you. He will text me, and I will text you. And Seb has seen Zion, so that's cool. No, so I had this really awkward moment. So Scott is a fan. We'll get into the collaboration side of this in a minute, but Scott is a fantastically generous person to work with. He would make sure that I was credited for everything I did. The only problem is Scott is also really bad at using the right tags. So Scott would always like tag my private account, which is Kiterman, and then I have my public account, which is the Amazing Kiterman. So I had this weird situation where UA the Duo wanted to friend my private account, and they have like, you know, all these followers and shit, and I'm like, actually my art account is the Amazing Kiterman. I had to do that shit. It was totally awkward. But I want to talk about UA the Duo because, so we're getting to the drunk song. So I'm sorry. I don't care if you hate this. Everybody fucking loves the drunk song. Everyone I've talked to, that's like one of their favorite songs.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. The funny thing is at the end of that, you go into this whole conversation. Now, we can talk about the song separately. First of all, I love the fucking beat. I love everything about it. It's the conversation at the end that drives me nuts. So who are you talking to in that extended end?
Oh my God, that's one of the best parts. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic,
that was
too.
me and Chance, my producer, and Donnie Benelli, who was he was singing that day. He was singing the hook for the Zion I song.
Yeah.
The one about the future. So he was just in the studio hanging out, and so I'm so drunk, just completely wasted. And I finished the song, and Chance just leaves it recording, but doesn't tell us. So we just start, that's just a natural conversation. I didn't know the mic was recording. I just start rambling about whatever, about like how Underground Ambitions would like help me record some of my like cool sound effects and my doubles. And we were supposed to do an EP together and probably still will. And Underground Ambitions, now they're called UA the Duo. They are just like two brothers who rap, and they're from Utah and so talented. And I opened for, do you remember Afro Man, the guy who was like,
Yes.
Yeah. So we did a show with him, and that's how I met Underground Ambitions, and we've been like good friends ever since. And so I always try to get them on songs or get me on their songs, and we're so different. They're like really young and cool, and I am old and not. And like every song, I have a song called Blackouts that you can see. I think it's on YouTube. We have a music video for it, and we're so different. But I love those guys. But yeah, that conversation was just me drunk and rambling, not knowing the mic was on.
That's hilarious. I always get pissed at Chance because he yawns while he's talking to you. I don't know why.
That's Donnie.
Is that Donnie? Okay, fuck it again, Donnie. God damn it, fuck Donnie.
Yeah, because he didn't know the mic was on either. So he's just like, was polite enough to wait for me to finish recording. And then we'd been at the studio all day, and yeah, it was so funny. And
By the way, Donnie is a fucking great rapper. You guys call him the talent. I actually, like, when I listen to it, you're always the closer. I always feel like you're the talent, but Donnie's fucking amazing. So, like, when I talk shit on Donnie, and he's named Donnie, and I've always told you, Donnie's the best turtle, not fucking Mikey. This is like an old
Mikey
thing
is the
we've
best,
had.
though. You're just
No,
wrong.
Donnie's the best, and Benelli's got my back on that, so whatever. Anyway.
You're still wrong.
So it's so funny. So I'm listening to the album and I'm wondering, why does he have this long break in the fucking middle of the album where he lets us play? But you get into the whole thing about UA used to do your doubles.
Yep.
With the brah and all that shit, and then it goes right into the UA song. And that's kind of what I love about the fucking whole album, is it's like got a really good flow because of things like that.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't sure where they were going to fit on the album, and I had that was the last song I was doing, was the one about about traveling. So the first half of every verse is about like coming up on a mental breakdown, and then the second half is like, but I still get to like travel and go to Italy and stuff, so like maybe don't complain so much. And I was like, hey, I think you guys could like work out some sort of chorus for this. Let me see what you got, and that's how they ended up on the album, and I think they killed it. That one's such like a weird song. It's so specific. It's just like, oh yeah, like things are really tough for me in my brain right now, and then, but also like I'm going to Nashville, and that's awesome. I like Nashville. Oh, I'm going to Milan to write raps, and like, yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, they're great guys.
They are, and they're the only ones that followed me, so I stand behind you. Let's talk about you and I.
Yes.
Okay, so this is funny. At some point in late 2017, I started doing shows and like deciding to put my art out there after like spending my adult life taking care of my children who are grown now. At some point I said to you, "You ever want art? Fucking hit me up," right? And we kicked it back and forth. I think at some point you had talked to me about doing something for like a collab album. I think you would talk to me about doing something. Yeah. One time there was like a Goosebumps themed cover you wanted to do.
Yep, we are literally talking about doing that project right now. It's the second installment of a collab with me and my DJ Scratchmo, and called Lickety Split. And I was like, oh, we're going to finally do this project. And then it got put on hold for another 4 years.
By the way, Scratchmo is awesome. I took I'd seen I got the album. I'd listened to it. I loved it. My daughter and I went to IKEA to purchase these lovely toy shelves you see behind us that Scott helped fund. And I was like, what do you want to listen to? And we're like, well, let's check out the new Weezer just dropped 2 albums. And they were super weird and contemporary and depressing. And then I'm like, let's listen to Scott's thing. We threw that Scott's thing. And the thing about Scott is, even if I don't like the song, I can listen to Scott rap because he's funny, and the way he raps and the way he rhymes words is actually really fun for me. So even if I don't like the beat, I can listen to the song.
Awesome.
But at some point, Scratchmo comes on as we're literally pulling into the IKEA parking lot, and I've got no hands on the wheel. I'm like, whoop, whoop, whoop,
yeah.
whoop. Because Scratchmo's a fucking shit. So that's it.
Man, he's so good. Yeah, he is ridiculously talented at what he does. He makes great beats, but like he made the beat for Let Me Chill, and then I told him, I was like, I just want this like instrumental, like I'm not gonna rap on it. You do whatever you want for 3.5 minutes, go crazy. And that's what he sent me, and no tweaks. It's just that song you hear on there was what he sent me.
And it reminds me of Juice the movie. Remember Juice the movie?
Yeah.
When they did oh my fucking God, it's like spot on, man. I swear to God.
On the risers, yeah, just like so aggressive. Yeah, it's so good.
So good. Yeah. Anyway, so we talked about all that. At what point, so if you guys don't fucking know, I did the art for fucking Scott's album, okay?
Yeah, buddy.
And it's wonderful.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
It really is.
So
I love all of it.
At what point did you decide to use me, and why did you decide to use me, and when were you convinced to use me, and why?
Yeah, I always knew it was going to be an illustrated cover. I didn't know. I decided to use you the second I came up with the concept. I was just like, okay, I know what it's going to be called. It's going to be called Season 4, which is just sort of means like I hit a point in my life where like with rap, like it's either going to take off or it's going to jump the shark. And then jump the shark, I was like, oh, that's a funny idea. Let's see if Kai can do anything about that. I was picturing a doodle.
Oh, was it a challenge?
Like,
let's see if Kai can do anything about this.
Yeah, I was like, well, let's see like what his take would be on it, or if he's even interested, because it had been so long since we had talked about working together. And
You're right.
Like,
I was so busy. It's so funny that you think I'd be like, no, let me check my schedule.
But you weren't, like, in the time when we first talked about it to now, you were doing cons now. You were doing all this stuff.
It was
like
so fucking gangster.
It was
yeah, totally.
And so I just messaged you, and right away you were like, oh yeah, let's do it. And I really did just picture like something simple. And then as we started getting in and talking about it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be epic. Like we started doing share screens, and he was pulling up 1,000 different art layers and showing me everything. And I was like,
yeah, that was the funny thing. I showed Scott at some point, I had pulled up like 275 references.
Yeah.
To do the initial cover drawing.
Yeah. And I was like, I just kept going like, the album will be good. I don't know if it's going to be this good. Like, don't kill yourself on my behalf.
And I'm like the opposite. I'm still apologizing. Like, I'm at a point where I'm still trying to like identify my style, which everyone tells me I have, but I don't feel like I'm there yet.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time with that. And the funny thing is, like, I was inspired by, in the beginning, I didn't feel like you and I were driving on like exactly the idea. I just had loved the conversation we had, which was like, I should share this. Scott had called me and he told me, after talking about the goosebumps and all that other shit, when we actually sat into these, he's like, I want myself jumping over a shark. And he had this,
so great.
He had this, which I know from Fonz and the whole thing. If all you young kids watching out there, if you don't understand that when a show jumps the shark, it means they've gone too far, basically.
Right.
And it dates back to Happy Days. So there was this beautiful moment where he explained what that meant to his life. And I wrote this thing later after I'd done the art that explained kind of where he's coming from. And I never tried to recreate that conversation. I just remember his voice, which is very much how he raps. Like, Scott has a fantastic voice. He says, I just want to see myself jumping the shark.
Yeah.
And I'll never try to recreate the conversation that followed. I just thought it was beautiful. And the funny thing was, I was like, okay, I could do that. And in my mind, trying to find my voice and style that I'm still kind of searching for. I'm getting closer, but I'm still kind of searching for it. I had this idea of what I wanted to look like. And I told Scott, I said, I don't just want to do the cover. I want to do the back cover. I want it to be a continuation of the cover.
Yeah.
Like these old, like, punk albums that I grew up liking. Jimbo Phillips, NoFX, No Use for a Name, like all these things where like we'd have the cover with the pier with you jumping over it, and then we'd have a continuation on the back. And then we hit numerous hiccups. Like the sizing wasn't right, we couldn't fit the pier, the perspective was off and all that shit, and it was a giant fucking nightmare. But every time I would fucking call Scott, he's like, that's fucking amazing. I'd send him just like my red sketch drawing of like what I want this to look. He's like, that's fucking amazing. That's fucking amazing.
Okay,
Yeah.
in fairness, that is how you react, and I react with everything too. He'll ask me how things are, and I go, "Oh, I really love that. That's great." He's like, "No, it's shit. I will restart. We will begin again."
It really
And
was.
I'm
I'm
like,
not
really
trying
love
to be humble. Like, I feel like it's shit. Like,
I know you don't really know how to be humble. This is true.
well, that is true. That's a separate thing.
Yes, but it's really, really the case. You have a vision and you have somewhere you want to get, and it's really cool.
And I remember, like, the great thing about Scott. So I sent him this picture. I drew this like pink line drawing of like a guy just like a stick figure essentially over a pier, and he's like, "That's what I want." It was a stick figure drawing, and he like trusted me for it. Then I sent him like 3 pictures. I would text Scott. These are literal texts that I sent Scott. Do you want to look like fat stoic? Or do you want to look like belly out? He's like, oh, fucking belly out. Yeah. I said, okay, I'm also going to fucking put a farmer tan on you. Yeah. Like anything I could do, he would self-deprecate it, right?
Yes.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It was so great.
Yeah, it was so cool to like see me in that like such a professional, clean, like high level style. You know, I'm the same way with music. Like, Chance will show me like a little 4-bar loop, and I'll be like, "That's perfect. Don't touch it." And he's like, "I'm definitely gonna touch it. It's the stick figure of music. Like, what are you talking about? It's just a sketch." And I'm like, "It can get better than that." I don't know. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, and every version that he showed me, I was like, "Holy shit, that's what the shark looks like." The liquid between the teeth, and like the angle it was coming at, and like the pier behind us. And hey, did that restaurant close?
Yes.
I just heard that, and I was gonna text you, and I was like, I'm almost positive that's the
So the funny thing is, okay, so Scott's from Utah. At some point, I drew the cover, and I based it off where I grew up, Huntington Beach, which is like, it used to be something else until the pier got knocked down and it became a Ruby's Diner. So I wanted to do that. That was nostalgic to me. At some point, he texted me, and he said Donnie Benelli had seen it, and he's like, "Oh, is that Huntington Beach?" Because he recognized the cafe. And I said, "Okay, fuck you." Because I pushed myself to do the back cover and torture myself too, I was like, okay, so we couldn't do the continuation of the pier, but this whole thing is in Huntington Beach, the only apartments and shit that are there on the left side of the pier. So I said, if Donnie recognizes this, I'm going to do a continuation. Like, the girl's point of view is going to be watching Scott in the water doing this as he does it near the Huntington Beach pier. And Scott's like, "I love it." And then the funny thing was, like, what was the thing we had, Scott? Like, at some point, I put the House of Lewis as like a tattoo on her leg, and you said, "That's great. She knows what fucking House of Lewis is, but doesn't know who I am." That's totally Malone.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's a fake fan. Yeah,
So great.
So
very
clever.
on brand for us. Yeah, it was awesome. I especially Whitney's friends. Whitney was in a punk band growing up, and listened to Fat Wreck and had the albums, and her friends who have bought the album since, they all got the references immediately.
That's fucking amazing. One of the texts you sent me was Whitney says this looks like an old Fat Wreck album, and I was like, mission accomplished.
Yeah, without me like giving her any sort of introduction, I was like, "Hey, this is a rough sketch of what it's going to look like," and she's like, "Oh, Fat Wreck. Totally, I know exactly what he's doing."
And the funny thing is, I kind of pitched that in the beginning, and Scott was like, but as it just kind of evolved during like what we were dealing with, like with the sizing and all the stupid shit, like he just kind of liked how it was going. It ended up kind of being that thing. It wasn't planned to be that thing.
Yeah, the colors were so bright, and the artwork was just so clear. I remember telling you, like, I want it to look like if they made a BoJack style like show about me. You know, like, what does the Scott cartoon look like? And that's exactly what the Scott cartoon looks like. Like, it's
the funny thing is, I have to tell people that this was your idea, that I didn't just like, somebody didn't ask me to draw a record album and I drew you drawing over Shark. Like, Scott came to me and requested this, and then I have to show them a picture of you, and they go, oh, that's dope. That looks just like him. It
really does. Yeah, it's so awesome. And it was,
if you were a great white shark, that is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. If I was like one unimportant person in the background. Yeah, it was so cool to like see that come to life. It really is a lot like when I make music and collaborate with people. I really, with rap, it's so based on collaborations. Like, almost every rap album has other people on it, and I like that about it. I like that it's social and it's collaborative, and so. But then people often like wow me and do something with my song that I never would have thought to do. And it was the same with Kai and the artwork, where I was like, yeah, I have this idea. I think it'll be just straight on me jumping over a shark, just real simple. And he was like, "Oh, why would I do it that way? Like, I can do it so much better than that." And I was like, "Okay, I trust you. Go for it." And
you're being way too super kind.
I'm not, though. I mean, that really is like what I initially pitched you was just like, "Hey, just do Jonah Hill on top of the shark." I don't know.
That's your next album. We do something like the man who invented the bomb, where you're just riding the shark into space.
Yeah, right.
Kubrick style.
Yeah, and like getting on the phone with you, and you were like, "Oh, I'm also going to do the back cover." I was like, "What? Really?" And he's like, "I have a whole other concept for that." Oh, and there's going to be stuff inside. There's going to be and like all these other the CD art, and I was like, "Oh my god, the CD art is good enough to be the cover." Like, all the art elements are so dope. Yeah, and it's I can't wait for fucking shows to start again so I can go put it on the table and start selling it to people.
I'm really happy about that.
Yeah.
Like I just have to say, like, I couldn't stop. Like once, like the funny thing was, so unfortunately I have some disorders. I have ADHD, I have OCD. When I don't like something, the funny thing is, so on the cover, like this hand that's out in the air,
Yeah.
I spent 2 days on that.
Yeah.
2 full days. But this hand that takes up the entire CD, I did in like an hour. So when things work for me, they work, and when they don't, they don't, and I get hung up on little things. But like all I can say is, Scott gave me time. He was like really generous. We would talk about things. We would meet. I remember the first time we met. I draw everything on iPad. I had to do it on my computer for the Zoom. I couldn't pull the thing up. You were patient. You were super nice. At some point, you know, this was supposed to be done in 3 weeks. It ended up taking me 2 months, which I spent every second of my time on. But Scott's like, it's fine. It's fine. You have all the time you need. Take it. Do it. Do your thing. And I don't want to say luckily your producer got COVID, but he also did get COVID, so that bought me like 3 weeks.
Yeah, the studio shut right down.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, you got as much time as you need.
Yeah. So that was really nice. So I just want to say I had a really great time collaborating with you. I thought you were like super kind and generous. I literally would charge a lot of money for this, and I didn't, and I kind of said, here's a blank check, pay what you want. And I thought Scott fucking paid me way more than he had to. Like,
and I still feel I got the better end of the deal by
you
far.
You did, but you tip me kind. So like when you see those stories about celebrities that go to restaurants and they undertip, that's not Scott. Scott,
Yeah.
Scott was given like, you can give me $1, and Scott did not give me $1. He gave me lots of dollars. So like, I appreciate you, and I appreciate your kindness, and I appreciate you letting me do this. So I had a really good time doing this, and I'm so happy that it came out. And this is actually going to be my favorite album of all time. Like,
yeah, I like.
No matter what I do, based on, it doesn't even matter the music. This is going to be my favorite album of all time because I got to be a part of it.
Me too, but just because I'm a narcissist.
Yes.
So it's...
I also have that as well. Helps as well.
Yeah, I remember you saying like you brought your daughter in to like help with some of the art stuff, and
my daughter is a better artist than me. I think she's
so talented.
She's
so talented.
She's in college right now. She's fantastic. Go ahead, Heather. Sorry.
You should follow her on Instagram. If Kai wants to give her Instagram, it's Glovely Lovely, isn't it?
Yes, at Glovely Lovely. Way better than me. Yes. I don't do anything without consulting her. She's fucking amazing.
She is. I love everything she does.
We had a real issue with the back cover. Is like there's a whole color wheel thing. We had used every color on the color wheel, and didn't have any left. And I would have to bring her in to coach me on how to do the colors to make the whole goddamn thing work. And I couldn't have done it without her. She's the greatest thing in the world. So.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I love this like so much, and I'm trying to think. I don't know that I've ever had a picture of me on an album cover before. I didn't on Gnarly. I didn't on Lickety Split. I didn't on Thanks for the Burgers. I don't think. Yeah, but this was like, oh, look at me go. Like, this was awesome. I really, really love it. So, yeah, collaborate with people. I mean, like, we've known each other for so long now.
Yeah.
And this was, like, our first official collaboration. But, like, because I was a doer and you were a doer, like, 11 years ago, it was just like, oh, who knew where it was, like, going to lead? It was awesome.
And hopefully we'll do it again.
For sure.
All right.
Heather, I want you to do one for my next one.
Heather,
you got this.
You got any comment for that, Heather?
I had claps. It was really beautiful. All of it.
No, I said that you're going to draw me my next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think she heard that part.
No, I did not hear that part at all. Okay, if you want me to draw you, I really hope you like stick people pooping.
Draw me like one of your French girls. That's
one of my French girls. They all look the same. They're stick, and all their hair goes like this.
No,
and I give them
it's the same thing, but Scott's is just rounder like a sunflower.
I don't know how to do that. They stay stick, Kai.
All right, this brings us to the end of the general discussion topic. We've run long tonight. I appreciate everyone's patience. Let's get into the Serious 7 so we can end this bitch.
Hey, you you better listen up. It's time for the Serious 7, so shut the fuck up.
God damn it.
I like that it ends with "shut the fuck up" when I was talking over the first half of the
Yeah,
song.
isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, that worked out great.
All right, so let's do the Series 7. We have 7 questions for you. You can take this any way you want. Be funny with it. Take it serious. Don't really care. First question, we'll go ahead and start with you, Scott. Tell me 3 songs you listen to when you want to smile, you want to cry, and you want to get pumped up.
Pumped up. There's this song. DMX just passed away, and I think he's like one of the all-time greats.
I almost went with that.
Yeah. On one of his later albums, he has this song called "Walk These Dogs," and it is one of the best pump-up songs I've ever heard. But I don't know what the metaphor about the chorus is like. We go walk these dogs, but there's nothing else in the song that explains like what that means. So I just take it literally, like he's out there literally walking dogs. But it is so good. So that's my pump-up song.
Do you picture pit bulls or something with like more of a bouffant kind of hairstyle?
Oh, I picture...
Because DMX with a bunch of Bichon Frises is kind of funny.
Yeah, I do like that. Him riding like a Great Dane.
Yeah.
Just
riding it like Napoleon Bonaparte. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was good. Rest in peace. The happy song would be Hot Cheetos and Takis by this group called YH Rich Kids. And they were kids at like a Boys and Girls Club in some city. I don't remember where, Detroit maybe. And the people who ran the after school program got a bunch of them on a song, and they made a song about how much they love to eat hot Cheetos and Takis. And then they shot a video for it, and they blew up, and they did a Kmart commercial, and it's like one of the funniest songs. I love it.
They did a Kmart commercial. Kmart has commercials?
I mean, this was quite a while ago now.
Okay.
I can't.
Yes.
It
I
has
don't
to
think
be.
that they do.
Did this
anymore.
inspire the Hot Bean Machito in any way?
It was, yeah, it did.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's so great. You guys, if you don't know about the Hot Bean Machito, please go listen to Scott's previous albums, and please go to my website and look at all the hidden references in Scott's album art, because the Hot Bean Machito is something we say in our house often.
Sad Song is probably my favorite song. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. I love that song.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good song.
Yeah, that song's a real bummer. It's a real, things aren't going to get much better for you. The deck is stacked against you with that one. Yeah, so those are my 3. Walk These Dogs, Hot Cheetos and Takis, Fast Car.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here, Heather, and then I'll go to you. So if I want to get pumped up, I'm listening to A Single Second by AFI. Back when AFI was a punk band.
Yes.
So, not this Miss Murder shit. So if I'm surrounded by 10 guys closing in on me, and you play 30 seconds of A Single Second by AFI, I am clenching my fists and counting who's going down with me. That's it. I'm pumped. Fuck you. You're going to have to kill me. If I want to get sad, I've got issues. Father of Mine by Everclear. If I wanted, I don't know about happy. If I want to be peaceful, I actually get really calm when I listen to 1979 by the Smashing Pumpkins. I was born in 78.
That's a good one.
For whatever reason, that one just kind of calms me out.
It's a solid song.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What about you, Heather?
To pump me up, for either running, working out, or if I want to drive excessively fast, my favorite song to listen to is by Uppermost. It's called Revolution. It's all electronic. It's he's a French multi-instrumentalist, and all of his music is just amazing. But that song in particular, it's like this really, really fucking slow build, and it's just sweet music, and then it just kind of fucking drops, and it's so intense. And once it drops, and it does again later in the song, but it does 2 times, and it's just like, I feel like I could literally battle Wolverines in that moment. It's just,
I feel
it's
like
great.
you don't have to say multi-instrumentalist, because if he was a guitarist, you would just say guitarist.
I Googled it. It literally says multi-instrumentalist.
God damn it, I'm wrong. I take it back. Heather read the
Suck it along.
Wikipedia.
Suck it long and suck it hard, Trebek. Thank you, Scotty.
What's the name of the song, Heather?
Revolution. It's badass. So I fucking love that song, and that whole album's actually just great. But sad. Sad. Oh gosh, 3 Days Grace. It's Never Too Late.
Mm.
Yeah, that one's always rough for me, no matter what mood I'm in. One of the chapters of my book that I was writing that was a really, really tough one for me. I just listened to that song on repeat for about 2 hours, and it got me just through it. But that's where I needed to be, so it worked. But that song always gets me. But I'll end on a happy note, and I was just listening to it recently because spring is coming and summer, and this is one of the bands that I like to listen to in summer along with Sublime, and that is 311 Amber.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love that song. You could put that song on repeat for me over and over again, and I'd just be pleasant as hell. It's so
They
good.
are huge in Utah. Huge.
Really?
They play here once, sometimes twice a year. It's them and Incubus, and they just
They
keep
do
coming
travel with
out.
Incubus.
Incubus is a whole thing.
Insane. They are so popular here. Everybody who like snowboards, everybody like just everybody.
It's such good chill music. It's just great.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, really amazing.
So Heather, I have to step away
Yes.
for 1 second. I've got a thing I've got to deal with right here. Can you please take question 2 for me?
Yes, I can. We will start with you, Scotty. So what is the last song that you listened to before the show today?
I listened to, so Whitney got me a record player for Christmas this year. And one of the first albums I bought is from this Canadian band called The Tragically Hip.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I got the Phantom Power album, and my favorite song on that one is called Bob Cajun. And I'll put it in the chat. It's so good. Just like a pretty song. I love his voice. I really liked it. And I looked up the Wikipedia for it. I was like, I don't quite know what this is. I think Bob Cajun is a constellation, but I don't quite know what the song is about. And it turns out it's about like local Nazi groups. Not pro, luckily, but like I was like, why does it mention like Aryan stuff in here? And it's about like small towns and like having to deal with like pockets of Nazis and, you know, skinheads and assholes and stuff like that. So, but that whole album, that Tragically Hip was described to me once as the Rolling Stones of Canada. And they are the Canadian band, but they didn't cross over in the US almost at all.
No, I had a friend and that they were her favorite, and she was just madly in love with them. And I always appreciated them, but you'd never heard a lot of people talk about them. So that's kind of cool. That's what you were listening to.
Yeah, back in college, a Canadian friend of ours introduced us to them, and my friend and I went to San Francisco to go see them. And almost the entire, like so much of the crowd were people from Canada who specifically came to San Francisco for that show, because they were like, when we see them in Canada, we get nosebleed seats in the biggest arenas, but we come to the US and we can get it's just a small venue and we walk right up to the stage, and like, you know, it's like Bruce Springsteen for us, or, you know, like U2 for us. And so, yeah, they're really cool.
That's awesome.
What's the last song you listened to?
I was listening to Die Antwoord, and I was listening to Fish Paste.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun song.
Fish Paste?
It's another. Yeah.
I
I have a happy little spot in my heart for Die Antwoord. And my 4-year-old, since he was about 6 months old, loves them too. So the second I put them on, like even when he was a baby, he'd freaking jam out to it. And I'm like,
wait,
oh,
the mullet group from all the movies from the dude that did District 9.
Yeah, fucking forget about Chappie. Chappie is bullshit.
But it's those people. Yeah.
It is those people. Yes, it is. Yes.
Why is Scott laughing so hard at that? I've totally named them, and
Chappie wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but
you can say that about any movie.
Yeah, I saw it when I was very excited to see it, and so I was deeply let down.
I get that.
It was by band and filmmaker. However, I love Die Antwoord. They're so utterly bizarre, but they're so good.
Did you ever see that? They told a story about playing basketball at Drake's house, and then someone animated it.
What?
It's great. You'll love it.
Seriously?
Wait,
Yeah.
how do I get to a point in my life where that is a thing that fucking happens? I went to this random celebrity's house and did this thing, and somebody animated it, and that's a new thing.
You be a doer, Kai. It'll happen.
I'm fucking trying, Scott. This reminds me of every story on the Drunk Song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just weird. Yeah. Absolutely.
By the way,
Kai, what was the last song you listened to before starting the show?
I'll tell you in 1 sec. You're gonna like it, but I need confirmation first because we have a chat question. Is it? And I know the answer. Is it Burrito or Buchito? B-U-H or B-U-R?
Oh, burr, like burrito.
There you go.
Mhm.
Okay, so the last song I listened to, aside from Scott's album, which was for research, is actually a House of Lewis. So I've never listened to House of Lewis. So recently I've been listening to, and I'm kind of hooked on Start Here Part 2.
I almost put that song as the song that like makes me cry.
Yeah.
But it felt weird putting my own song.
Yeah,
But,
I don't want to compliment Donnie. I'm really trying to come out as an anti-Donnie tonight.
Hey, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, I feel like he needs it. He needs to be knocked down a peg.
It's a weird stance to take, but okay.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
No, when he says Scratch Mode can just play the whole symphony, and they, oh my god,
Yeah.
like every time. And each of you guys has a fucking fantastic verse. I've been listening to that one on repeat, so I haven't got too far into the album because
Sure.
I'm kind of hung up on re-listening to that one.
That one, yeah. For I was gonna say for those who haven't heard it, for all of you who haven't heard it, it's just a song where we recap everything we've done since we started making music, and it was such a weird. I mean, like when we really sat down and thought what we had done, and none of us make money off of our music. Like we're just hobbyists, and it's not how we make our living. But like when you start listing out everything that we did, we worked so hard for the time where we're still are, but like we had done so much in a short amount of time. And that's why I'm just always telling people like, go do stuff. If you did a fraction of that stuff, you would feel happy. Like just go do it.
Shirley wants me to talk shit on fucking Donnie in my fucking Boston accent. Fuck
Oh.
that prick. He's no fucking Tommy. There's one fucking Tom. Donnie and Tommy rhyme. Two different fucking things, kid. Okay? Two fucking different things. My wife's whole existence is me walking around, like, impressing her with my she's not impressed, but trying to impress her with my Boston accent.
See, she loves it. That's all that matters.
I wanted to talk to like what Scott was saying. Like, I do the same thing with my art. So, like, it's been...
Whoa.
What?
Oh, I just heard
Go.
Keanu Reeves' voice in my head, so I said "whoa" because Steve Bush typed it.
I love Steve Bush.
Sorry, it's been an hour and a half, and I finally just had an outburst. That's pretty fucking good.
That's fine. I think the same fucking thing with my art. So like I would go to cons and look at people and like I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. And within 2 years, I was doing every fucking con I wanted to do. I had someone reach out to me and use my art to make officially licensed merchandise for the Predator movie. I got reached out to you to do an album cover, and I'm like, if I list these accomplishments on paper, fuck you. There it is. Look, that's my fucking Predator merch. That's fantastic.
It's so badass. I have two. I had one that I kept in the package, by the way, Kai, which Kai knows I open all toys. I had one I kept in the package and one that I took out because I love you.
She also has a sticker pack of mine just sitting there
Yeah.
because you never know where you want to put a sticker because once you do it, it's done.
There's some.
All right, let's go to question 3.
Yes.
So I fucking love this one. We were talking about it before the show. Donald Glover famously came up with the name Childish Gambino using the online Wu-Tang name generator. So what did you get, Scott, when you went and put your name in the Wu-Tang generator?
Yeah, mine was weird. I don't know. Like mine is Officer Quick.
It's like if DJ Quick took a different career path.
Yeah.
Like, that guy is a snitch for sure.
I think you're right.
So the funny thing is that the generator is actually very sensitive. So like when I went there and the first time I did it, I put in Kai Parker and I got Lazy Ass Contender. Okay, but the problem is I don't go by Kai Parker. I go by Kai B. Parker. So I typed in Kai B. Parker and I got Mighty Knight. And I'm like, fucking Mighty Knight, bitch? Let's do it.
Yeah, that is good.
But then I went
That's
to...
Officer Quick.
And I'm going with that. That's my one. But I did want to mess with it a little more. So I took away the dot in front of B. I just put Kai B. Parker with no, period. and I got what was it? Master Bastard.
So almost masturbator.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. Now I'm so glad I stuck with Mighty Knight.
I'm glad you stuck with Mighty Knight, but I kind of want you to be masturbator now.
I grew up with a guy named Jason Bader, and we would always call him Master, and I've always felt bad for him. So now I'm in that category. Okay, what did you get, Heather?
Mine is bullshit. It's actually kind of cool. But it's bullshit for me. So I put in my name as Heather, since that is how most people refer to me. Mm-hmm. And I got Samurai Tame. First of all, a fucking samurai is a ninja's enemy. And I am a ninja. True. So I do not accept this. Secondly, Tame. Has anyone met me in the room?
But also Tame doesn't go with samurai.
But right. Yes, but I think I figured it out because I watched a lot of SpongeBob because of all the people that live in my house. And it's opposite day.
Perfect.
I like it.
So I'm good.
I'm good. Crazy.
Ninja crazy. Love it. Thank you.
All right, next question. Scott, tell me a band or artist you do not like.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Billy Joel. Billy Joel is a cheese dick. Man, I don't get it. Whitney used to quiz me, like a song would come on the radio, and she'd be like, hey, do you like this song? And I'd be like, no, this is terrible. Who is it? And she's like, it's Billy Joel again. I don't know what it is.
So she's trying to trick question you, and you're still hating him, not knowing what it is. So it's innate.
I just hear it, not know who it is, just blind. I go, what is this song? And she's like, I tried to sneak a Billy Joel song in there. Yeah, you catch it every time. I don't know. I don't, because I'm a cheese dick, so I don't know what it is. It's not like I want him to be tougher. I just don't relate to that brand of like East Coast yuppie. I don't know. I'm a Springsteen guy or a Wu-Tang guy. I don't know. There's a lot of different people representing that area of the country.
Well, I'll actually piggyback that a little bit, even though it wasn't my choice, but I do not love Bruce Springsteen at all. The second a Bruce Springsteen song comes on, I'm just like, I don't hate it, but I'm just like, not for me.
Like, I don't need any more songs about train tracks, factory workers.
Well, somebody had to pick up where Dylan left off.
Well, and most people around here, they have love for Bob Seger because Bob Seger's from around here, and which I also don't care that much about Bob Seger. But it's kind of one of those things. I think it was kind of shoved down your throat is to be accepted. Yeah. And I just didn't love it.
Oh, throwback to the House of Lewis song. Young Seger always working on his night moves. All right. So I'm gonna go with. So we have this thing ever since COVID. Scott's come one time. Heather and I go pretty regularly. We do this like Saturday night trivia night because we want to see people in the middle of this goddamn pandemic when we can't see other people. So we had this category last week that our buddy Carl put up, I think, and it's just like, so this whole, I'm gonna group a bunch of people in. So it's like Seether, Hoobastank, Depeche Mode, Stained. Like there's like a whole group of people. Oh, Puddle of Mud. There's a whole group of people. When they sing a song, it sounds the same to me, and I don't like it.
Yeah. It's like
it was the Nickelback category.
It's Nickelback. Put them in there. Put them in.
Yeah, it was
like
the Nickelback category.
Did a theme song for a pro wrestling event. That's not what you like.
No.
That growing up in the TV trailer, those bands were like the soundtrack to my life. Just through pro wrestling.
By the way,
Puddle of Mud is the worst band ever.
Which one?
Ever. Puddle of Mud. They are. Do yourself a favor. Maybe I'll try to find it. There's a video of Puddle of Mud at some like radio station doing like an acoustic set. It is an abortion. It is so.
It's an abortion of music.
Yeah, it was awful.
That's so
in
funny.
The best way.
Somebody in our chat just said, F you Stained is the shiznit. That's going on your gravestone. If you want to stand by that.
Hey, I can tell you who that person is if you'd like to know, Kai.
Who is it?
You've seen his naked bum earlier today.
Is that Turdo?
It's Turdo.
Goddamn.
Oh, I thought it was the actor from The Witcher.
Well, Geralt's bum should be seen also.
What does it tell you that Heather's brother is named Turdo? Okay. Question number 5. this was Scott's question. He put this out on Facebook, and I fucked with me. What is your favorite rap group, Scott?
Yeah, mine is a small group, and they're defunct now. But there's a full like jazzy hip hop group called Crown City Rockers from the Bay Area. And when I met Zion, he told me to come to his show in Santa Cruz the next week, and I did. And third hip hop show that I've ever been to. And Crown City Rockers opened for Zion and just blew me away. They've got a real drummer, they've got a bass player, someone playing the MPC, keyboards, a great rapper, and they just instantaneously became my favorite band. And they have an album called Earth Tones, and it is incredible. I've shown it to other people, and some people love it and some people don't. But for me, it is the soundtrack to my college years in the Bay Area, and yeah, that's my favorite.
Where did you grow up in the Bay Area?
So I grew up when I was in high school. I was in a tiny little town called San Juan Bautista, kind of close to like Monterey area, Gilroy, San Jose area, and then I moved up to San Francisco for college and for my post grad, and that's where I met Whitney. In San Francisco, and then she was from Utah, so we moved back here after school.
What is Whitney doing right now?
Whitney teaches.
No, I meant literally at this moment.
Oh, at this moment, I think she probably has noise canceling headphones on. I think she's probably doing a puzzle. Just trying to think
puzzles are wonderful.
It's been a big COVID activity around here.
Yeah, it was two things that were really hard to find initial COVID were puzzles and bikes.
Yeah, luckily I had like 20 of them stocked up, so I was good to go during the beginning of COVID. I was pissed though. I'm like, oh, now all you motherfuckers want to do puzzles? I've been doing them forever. I'm an old ass bitch and it calms me down. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thankfully I had a shit ton anyway. I actually have one sitting over here right now.
But not to step on you, what is she teaching now?
She's teaching AP literature, AP she was teaching film, and now she's like teaching like 11th grade honors. So she's in the English department.
Is she still concerned about celebrity animals?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about them all the time.
Okay.
We were just Googling the MGM lion that roars at the beginning of MGM movies, and we were like, what's his story? Yeah, definitely.
That's great. All right. Question 6. I'm just going to cut to the chase and go first. This is a Heather question. I love putting Heather questions in. So, like, Heather wanted to start helping with Series 7 at some point, so she would send me, what is your favorite this, or what is your that? And then all of a sudden, she'd be like, what do you do if you gum drop while you poop? And I was like, I'm just going to put that question in there to scorn her, to make her answer it. And it actually was a lot of fun, so we just keep doing it. So, her question this week was, who's your daddy and what does he do? So, not to bring everybody down, mine's an asshole, and I don't know, because I haven't talked to him in 20 years, so we'll skip over that and get back to the fun. Heather, how about you?
His name is Robert Paulson, and he told me he's not allowed to talk about it.
Wow.
Wow.
You can take the question however you want. Scott, what about you?
My dad's name is Robert as well. Yeah, he lives in Central California, and he was in computers and computer sales for a long time, and now he's retired, and he plays the hammer dulcimer. And
what is a hammer dulcimer?
Yes.
What is a hammer? What is a hammer dulcimer?
It's like a little, almost like a harp that sits in your lap or sits on a table in front of you, and you play it with like little hammers. Yeah,
my parents had one of these when I was a kid, and I have no idea what it is or why we had it. I just know we came from Germans.
Yeah,
and that's probably why.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, so they just hand those down?
I guess so. Yeah, I'll get mine someday.
That's good. And, I don't talk to my dad, so it's good to know how I grew up. All right.
Right. It's just sitting somewhere with a wrapped in a bow with your name on it.
Exactly. All right, so this is our final question. So nobody's ever let us down in 11 years. We have this theory that everyone does a bad celebrity impression. This is where you would do yours. However, we are giving people an out on this. If you would prefer to give us a COVID confession, something odd or strange or
you can do both.
Or you can do both. You can do the confession while doing the impression if you want to be totally gangster. That's totally up to you. But the floor is yours, Scott.
The floor is mine. I was trying to think of a COVID confession. Really, the closest thing was just like how much of an introvert I've become. before COVID, I was the most social person I knew. I was doing too much, honestly. I was doing like 2 to 3 things a day, every day, like social events. I was going to, like dinner with friends, then go to a symphony with Whitney, go to a concert or go to a party or go to something. I mean, I was just, when you look at my calendar from right before COVID, it was insane. And then when COVID hit, everybody who knew me was worried, like, how's he going to handle this being stuck at home? And it was wonderful. It was the best. And now I don't want to hang out with anybody.
Oh my God. I kind of
I
agree
think
with
that's
you.
okay.
I kind of
Yeah, I
agree
do
with you.
too.
I've got to spend so much. So like, look, I'm not that old. I have grown children. I came into a marriage with someone that had a child young. I had my child young. But I've got to spend like an entire year with a woman I love who we're always too busy to fucking do anything. And my children have a million things going on. And we were forced to get in a room and like, we just get to hang out. And I've got to spend a year with them in a time when they're like close to moving on to the next step of their lives.
Yeah.
And I kind of cherish the time because I really don't need to go to your fucking house and eat your shit and smile.
That's what I always say to people, and I've done it for a long time. For the last few years, I've made it kind of important for me not to say, well, I don't have time for you or things. I say I prefer to spend my time with my family and my husband and work on that when I'm not working and stuff. And I feel like people apologize for that kind of stuff all the time, that we're always apologizing for not having time for each other. But the people that we should be spending the most time with, we usually don't. And this is where I like to be. So I was kind of feeling this years before, but I've been working remotely for a long time too. So I got to experience that differently than everybody else.
Yeah. I think if I were single or even living with roommates during COVID, I'd feel the exact opposite.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Like my friends.
I've had some awful roommates over the years too. I probably would have committed murder.
Yeah, I would have had to move out. Like that's too much time with them and
yeah.
Awful. Yeah, my friends who were like single, trying to like date during COVID, like doing Zoom dates. Like, awful. I got so lucky. I think all of us did, of just being like, oh, thank God. Like that has already worked itself out. I'm just going to do what I want to do here for a year. It could go, I mean, COVID quarantine could go on for another 5 years and we'd be fine.
Yeah,
I would.
Same.
I would.
The funny thing is though, so I have this like horror thought in my head if I had roommates and we had different like ideas of how to handle COVID. So like I'm trying to be cool and he's just bringing girls back every fucking night. But also like how many marriages have ended during COVID?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have a client that is a divorce law firm, and let me tell you, business is a booming.
Yeah, wow, that's what I'm saying, and like I feel like mine's grown a lot stronger.
Well, I mean, it's a test of that too. Whereas a lot of people can spend time avoiding each other in marriages that don't work or relationships that don't work, and be distracted by other things, so they don't have to address what's right in front of them. When you're stuck in the house every day with each other, it's impossible not to.
Yeah, it's like you got to wear a pepperoni hat just to get noticed.
Yeah. She's got noise canceling headphones and puzzles.
Oh, she's fucking Scott. She's having a different journey than you are.
Yep. She sure is. I just watched from the window.
You're all rapping about her in songs, and she's like, "Fuck this dude!" Like, I gotta watch my stories.
Her don't have my music in it at all.
Oh yeah.
But could you imagine like being married or like dating a fan? That sounds like the grossest thing I could imagine. Like if I came home and they were like, "You're the best," I'd be like, "Get out." Gross. Like I need someone to like tethered.
No, I'd end up arguing all day, like Kai and you being modest. I'd be like, "No, I'm not. I'm gonna throw rocks at you now. You're lying." Yeah. Go. I would be
like, "You're right," and now my head is so big. I already have a big head. This head is barely holding on.
Big head hatless.
But I couldn't even imagine, if I came home and it was just like, oh, I listened to your album 3 times today.
I'm used to people fucking hating me. Get away.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard the sound of my voice? It's tremendously annoying.
I can't deal with fucking compliments. Like,
no, I'm not good either.
That's great. That's everything I wanted, but I can't accept it because I've learned to fight through without it.
Yeah.
That's basically where I function.
It's true.
Once you get that hammered dulcimer from your dad, things are really gonna open up for you.
Well, yeah, but then I can not only do the art, but I can do some sample tracks on your shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna be fucking crazy. I'm gonna get like Weird Al Yankovic style. I'm gonna get a strap. I'm gonna be doing some like crazy shit with it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I might even bring in a wand style thing.
Heather, what's your COVID secret?
I don't really have any. I mean, I've talked about some of the weird stuff I do, but I kind of am an open book anyway. I've done all the weird things during COVID that I do normally.
Mm-hmm.
I've just realized much more so that I really, really don't want to see other people.
Yeah.
I'm so happy not having to go and do all of these things that used to be like, oh, we have this obligation. Oh, we have this obligation. You know what I really missed? I don't miss the obligations. I like spending time with people when they want to, but I miss going to concerts. That I miss.
Yeah. Yeah,
I miss sitting in a movie theater, but not with people.
I don't miss movie theaters. I'm a smoker. I don't miss it. Sorry. I like that Disney Plus is going to give me. It cost me fucking $90 to take a family of 4 to a goddamn movie. Give me Black Widow for $30 on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I get to wear my designer sweats. Like, I'm in. Let's do it. And they're designer motherfuckers. I pay for sweats. That's the other thing about COVID. I was ahead of the game on this shit. I went online and got like expensive sweats and expensive sweat shorts because I knew we were going to be working at home for a long time. So my wife and kids are a little behind me. It took them months to get into that shit, and I was like standing there with my shit like, what's up?
Are you kidding me?
Super cozy working from right now.
For me, I wear harem pants. That is my new thing. They are so fucking comfortable. They are the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my life, and I just want to live in them.
By the way, my wife is saying Quicksilver is not designer. Where I grew up, it is. So she can fuck off. They're $70 sweatpants.
That's stupid. Go get something off-brand, you idiot.
They just fit around my booty. All right.
I don't think your donker cares.
My daughter said she can't afford that life, and I pay for everything she does for. So, like, that makes me feel like it's against me. That's it. That brings us to the end of the show, guys. I appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate you guys being patient. I appreciate you guys commenting in the chat. I appreciate everything you guys have done, and I appreciate Scott. Scott, I can't tell you how much this meant to me.
Same.
Like, we're kind of BFFs forever, in my opinion, even though we don't talk on the reg. I feel like I can hit you up at any time, and I just love that this fucking happened between us.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, like, really, really insane how good that is. And it made me like the album more. Like, that CD's in my car, and because I listen to my own music all the time.
You fucking should.
Awesome. I love that. That makes me happy.
I was like, there's people, like, there are rap songs that I want to hear that no one else is making, so I'll make them, and then I'll listen to them.
Which one do you listen to the most?
I listen to, oh boy, that's a good question. The Zionide song, just because, like, he's such a hero of mine. I still can't believe we're on the same song together.
That's so great. Everybody's All Right and the Drunk song, I gotta be honest. And Been a Long Time is right behind it. Mm-hmm. Those are my go-tos.
It was so good. And I don't know how Twitch works, but I want to go through after we're done here and just read all the chat. I'm just going to hang out in the chat for a while.
So we are going to stick around and talk to you guys. We're going to take like a 90-second break. We're going to do our typical show end. And then if you guys have any questions, we'll come back and interact. So, Scott, one more time, tell everybody where they can find the album and you on social media and all that.
Yeah, all streaming platforms. Just look up Rhyme Time Season 4. And Spotify, Apple Music, everything. And then if you want to buy the album, if you want a physical copy of it or any of the merch, any of Kai's designs, we've got posters, T-shirts, CDs. It's rhymetimerapper.bandcamp.com. And then that's it.
Thank you so much, Scotty. Heather, what are we plugging?
Us. So thank you for everybody coming tonight. I think it was awesome. We literally had no idea if even
Our
10 people
friend that
would show
helped
up.
us do this, like, gave us props on how many people showed up to our first episode. So thank you
Yeah,
guys.
there was actually quite a few more. I think there was about double at the beginning, and they hung on for a good solid hour. I was watching the chat pretty closely the whole time, which actually went way smoother than I thought it would too. But if you guys are still here, please follow us though, because once we hit 50 followers, we can do a lot more cool stuff. It doesn't mean you have to come here all the time, although I would love it if you did. And you can follow us on our socials too, which we have up on the screen here right now. Kai for all of his beautiful artwork, and me on Twitter when I don't really post on Twitter, but I'm there. And if you want to watch my cat do yoga with me, then you can follow me on Instagram. But that's really all I post on there right now because I can't run.
My kid gave props to bringing Saxy back, even though it's not on season 4. You saw that, Scott? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. My son's a big fan too.
This is awesome.
He's Little Donut. He goes by Little Donut Ice. He did a little rapping in his time.
It took me a minute to realize that was him. I'm like, is that one of my dragons or is that one of yours?
He's a dope kid though. I love him to death. All right. That's it, you guys. Please follow my art on Instagram at The Amazing Kiterman. Check out kaibparker.com. Please go there and check all the hidden references that I put in this album because a lot of effort was put into it. As you know, that's about it. I could do this all day, but there's bitter drink, fun things to do, so I'm gonna go do that. We'll see you guys next time. Heather!
I pooped right before the show.
She
it
literally.
was epic.
Yes. She's like, I'm gonna go do a quick toozy, and I don't know what that is. Because quick is not the adjective I would put on that.
But I did, and it was magical.
So we are going to take like a 60-second, 120-second break to just refill our waters and stuff, and then we'll come back and we can answer any questions or anything you guys want to do. And if you all disappear, then we'll just fucking turn it off. I don't know what to tell you. So that's what we're going to do right now.
So anyway, I still haven't been to a specialist with COVID. It's been really hard to get in, see a
Oh,
doctor,
right.
find out what was going on. And
Is it like a hip flexor thing or a?
my hip flexors must be okay because I can do really strenuous, crazy yoga. It's an impact thing. We're not sure if it might be a ligament or a tendon torn, which is what it really sounds like.
Gotcha. Oh,
So I don't even get in till the 4th of May. And then even if I have to go through physical therapy or have surgery, I mean, I'm out for the year. So
yeah.
So we're back with the after show talking about Heather's hip flexors.
Heather's sacrum/hip injury that we're not sure about because it's something.
If you follow Heather, all I can say is I fucking hate cats. I'm deathly allergic to cats. And Heather famously has a cat named Mad Mardigan, who she loves, and I can't fucking stand it. And that's fine. It's a cat. Like, I can never go into Heather's house. We'll meet in the backyard. It's fine. The problem I have is she does yoga, and she's really great about it. I love liking her pose. I love seeing it. It's weird. I wake up every morning and see a new part of Heather's body.
I don't even know I had some of these parts. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it is. But like the cat just gets in there and fucking sits on you while you're doing the yoga. Like you're in downward dog to like rising sun, and the cat just like wraps around you like an alien symbiote, and it's like disturbing.
He stays with me. That's how he is in general, though. Wherever I am, he is. He will find a way to sit in my lap and pretty much be a part of my existence. And the funniest part is I'm just so used to it that I don't even notice that he's doing it anymore. Like, it came to a bunch of people private messaging me on Instagram, and it's not like I have a ton of people following me or anything. So half the people that actually watch were messaging me going, "Your cat's really messed up. How do you get him to do that?" I'm like, "Do what?" And then I started watching stuff back, realizing, oh yeah, this. I guess this is a little strange.
Jason's asking if you're getting on the Twitch stream. He's asking if you're getting a hip transplant.
If so, I hope it's not one that's murdered someone before. That never goes well.
Yeah, if you get any bone put in your body, you assume all their emotions and thoughts, right?
It's true, and I'm assuming that I would definitely get a psychotic murderous one for sure.
Yeah. You'd have to kill them with your hips, which is like sex crimes, I think.
Oh, that's totally like Ivana Hump-a-Lot. Or yes, there you go. But yeah, no, I don't know. Probably surgery is the likely. They'll have to fuse some of the stuff back, and then recovery. So until then, I'll just keep doing yoga, which has actually mellowed me out a lot too.
Yeah.
I'm not so aggressive anymore, and I do want to murder less. Like I don't even want a murderous hip transplant.
Yoga's fucking hard. Yoga is presented like extreme stretching, and you're like, oh, I could do that shit. And then you get on with like, what's her name, Gillian Anderson or some shit, and she's like, hold that position. And I'm like, I can't fucking hold that position for 60 seconds. There's no fucking way.
I have so much more respect for anybody that does yoga now. I've been doing it for 6 months, and I know nothing Jon Snow. It is and I run marathons. Like that's something crazy people do. And I think that that's fun. And this is really, really quite challenging. And I like that about it, but it's also like semi-peaceful. And you have to be able to get into like a very chill, woo-saw fucking place to do a lot of this. And I never realized how much woo-saw, motherfucker. Seriously, like I did not realize how much I clenched my jaw doing nothing. When I'm just sitting, I'm like, my jaw's clenched, not breathing, holding your breath. Like I had no idea how much I did that before and how I was just regularly tense.
Richard said I can only do sleeping dog, and I agree.
Sleeping dog's a good one.
I don't know if you guys know this. Heather did like fucking, like Heather's the person that runs like 47,000 miles.
Yeah.
And she's like forced to do yoga now due to COVID, and it's driving her crazy, but she's been like resilient about it. I'm proud of her.
I thank you. I've been trying. Like I really thought initially when I realized, okay, I can't run, I really thought I was going to lose my shit. Like we were talking about earlier, that things that are part of your identity and who you are. I am a runner. And I think about it every single day when it's nice out, I love running in the rain. So it's spring right now and it's raining, and this is my favorite time of year to run, and I can't run. So I'm looking outside at people enjoying being out there. I can't even go out there. It's really hard. I don't want to go outside and play, and I always want to be outside and playing.
Scott,
just not around people.
Knowing that, how winded were you running 90 feet when you did your nonstop video?
It was insane. It was 17 degrees out.
Oh my God.
Was it? And you're in the Ninja Turtle shorts outfit?
Yeah. It was so cold. And then I had to do maybe 6 takes. It felt like miles. And then of course you watch the video and you're like, you barely got a block. Yeah. I was dying. I couldn't breathe. It felt like breathing knives. I hadn't ran in years. And I think that's why the video turned out so good.
It was great.
You believe the torture.
I love the fucking credits too. It's like stunt driver Whitney.
Yes.
Why did you choose nonstop for the first video?
Because I got that idea. I knew the song was catchy and I thought people would like the song. And then I went to, as I was looking through a lot of the songs, it's interesting, like a lot of the songs it would be difficult to do a video for, like the Zion I one in the future. I was like, if the video I would want to do for that would cost $20 million. Nonstop was just like, I had a good concept for it.
And you only have like half of that in your budget.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Springsteen was busy doing some boring movie I didn't care about. And
the Super Bowl commercial?
I think that was the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
I'll get him next year. Either I will or Tom Hanks will for something.
Scott, can you put your video link to your video in the chat? Or Heather,
I'm getting it already.
Please? Okay, sorry. People are asking.
I got it. Yep. It's fantastic.
Does anybody have questions for Scott before we go? Because we're getting to the end of this thing. So if anybody does, that's it.
But you should definitely check that out. Yeah, he does. You are absolutely right, Sebastian. This is the one where he says, fuck.
There's no end to this thing, Timbot. By the way, shout out to Timbot, my buddy Justin. Like, we couldn't have done this without him.
No.
Like, Justin is a buddy artist that I met at a con. Who is Scott, by the way. Justin, what do I got? You're in the chat. What do I got to do to get you to send one of your Ninja Turtle prints to Scott? I'll pay for it. Can you make that happen? Please respond. He's got it's one of the first prints you see when you walk in my house. Give me an address. There you go. Scott, I'll send him text me your address again. I know I have it in our chat, but let me send it to him. Bill me. I'll take care of it, Justin. He's got a great Ninja Turtle print where it's one of the Ninja Turtles playing like an old school video game of the Ninja Turtles. Does Scott have one of your Ninja Turtle prints? My daughter's asking. Scott, do you have one of my Ninja Turtle prints?
I've got the Michelangelo that you drew, but it's not a print, I don't think.
You don't have the print? Oh shit, we're gonna be mailing you shit, dude.
Oh, I remember that.
I've got that one that you signed. It's framed up in my video game room.
Yeah, I was jealous he did that for you, Scott. But
yeah, it was incredible.
The crazy thing of all the things I've done, my Ninja Turtle print is the one I randomly sell on Etsy constantly.
It's awesome.
Scott, do you have a favorite number?
Oh, 11.
That sounded like something my 4-year-old would have said.
That's incorrect. It's 3. I have OCD. It's 3. It's 3. Everything's in 3.
19. It's 19.
3 is not a multiple of 11. That's incorrect.
19. 19 is.
Does anybody have? By the way, let me finish the thought. Justin has been fantastic. He has very limited time. He's an artist I met at a con. I love his art. He, during COVID, switched to Twitch and has done fantastic. Has just kind of blown up. He's had me on to be part of his Let's Draw show. Brought me on for the Draw a Day special they did over the holidays. And I've even hired one of his friends in my day job. That's like...
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I just appreciate him. And we kind of... Even today, he was out with his kids and wife. And he's calling me like yelling at his son at the same time, and then getting back on the phone to help us with like our technical issues.
Yeah, because we've been working.
Yeah, because OBS is a bitch.
It is.
You just do shit and it changes it.
Yeah. So we've definitely run into a lot of complications, and we've spent a lot of time. Actually, I'd like to thank everybody in our families who have been who have been so gracious with the time that we've spent working on this and not even remotely doing anything other than being supportive. It makes a huge difference. I always have guilty when I take time for things that are mine or for myself, and I have not felt that at all. And that's also helped me be super excited and motivated to work on all this. And then having all of our friends, which also Sebastian took some time and helped us out too, and all of our friends that came and are still here. I mean, it's really great, and I appreciate it. And I don't forget stuff like that. I will remember that kind of thing.
The funny thing about MILFcast, we've done it for so long that it just is what it is to us. But like, we go into our lives and people come to us like, I fucking love your show. And you're like, you fucking listen to my show? How do you even fucking know about it?
Isn't that the coolest though?
It is the fucking coolest. Our buddy Carl told me the other day it's his favorite podcast. And I was like, you fucking listen?
Oh yeah, thanks, Carl. Kai told me that. And I was like, that's so awesome. I got high pitched just like that. I did. It's true. That's like a really cool thing to hear. And we do it because we like doing it, but I mean, it's pretty rad when your friends are super
and we couldn't have done it without ripping off Jason's podcast, because that's the thing he mentioned to me the other day.
Did we?
I don't know.
Was this in one of my foggy years? Because I'm not responsible. I told them
we're doing the same podcast, but changing it to fun, so we don't have to just be stuck to films. We can talk about anything. He's like, "Oh, so you're ripping me off?" And I'm like,
because he kind of actually, you know what? I will acknowledge that. I actually had that thought pass through my mind recently. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's like what Sots did with his show. That's totally cool."
My wife said I like listening to Kai almost as much as he likes listening to himself. I guarantee you, she's not that close.
Whatever. Well done, Richard.
And this is not all family. This is a lot of friends and people, and like
I've checked the chat too, and we had a lot of people first, but there's still a lot of people that are hanging out here too, and I don't know who half of them are, which is actually kind of groovy.
That's a good thing. How many people are in the chat right now?
I think we still have like 15 or 16 left. We've got 16. Yeah, we still have 16 people hanging out, which is pretty awesome. We even lost my hubby. He went to bed. He was a good
son
sport.
Of a bitch.
He stayed up. He'll be up in 5 hours.
That's East Coast. We're not going to blame that on him. That's East Coast. All right.
Yeah.
That's it, you guys. Thank you so much. Remember, we're going to do this on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock. We're just me and Heather doing some random bullshit, and I actually think it's going to be a fucking lot of fun.
I think so too.
We dumped a ton of time and money into this shit, and we're sticking with it because Heather and I just like hanging out, and we like hanging out with people like Scott that we consider friends that we don't get to see because they live in fucking weird-ass Utah and shit.
I'd go to Utah before California again.
Scott, you come to SoCal, you come see me, yeah?
I want to go to Comic-Con someday.
Does that mean... Wait, he didn't really say yes. He's like, I want to... He diverted the question into I want to go to Comic... You can't go to Comic-Con and not see me because I'm probably going to fucking be there.
That was what I'm saying.
Okay. I thought you were going to put like a mask on and do some like Daniel Radcliffe shit.
Dress up like it's 3 of me under a trench coat.
I would love to hang out with you, so I hope we can do that soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to travel for after COVID's done. I can't wait. It's going to be the best.
It's going to be so fucking good. Anyway, Wednesdays at 6, Heather and I, once a month we're going to do this. We dumped a bunch of money in this, and my wife has been fantastically supportive. I appreciate that, probably because she helped book our next guest for next month, who is actually an actor. We're actually really excited to have him on.
Mrs. K is the bomb, yo.
Yeah, so we're really excited about that. In the meantime, Heather and I will do some silly shit. Yay, Wednesday. I need more MILFcast in my week. We will put the MILFcast in your ear.
You will get more MILFcast on Wednesdays.
I can't believe we went with MILFcast for the fucking name of the show 10 years ago, but it did work.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so I'll tell you guys this real quick because I think it's hilarious. So, I went to go add a YouTube channel, which you'll be able to watch this whole thing if you want to watch it again afterwards. And you can't change your YouTube Addy until you have like 100 subscribers or something of that likeness. So I'm just getting random things, but I wanted to go search for our channel, and instead of just clicking on whatever, because I had so many tabs open, I searched for MILFcast YouTube, thinking it would at least bring me somewhere in the vicinity.
Oh, it brought you somewhere.
So many MILF things on YouTube.
Yeah. So my number one thing is, if you're going to Google search for MILFcast, don't do an image search.
No.
Because it's us and a lot of boobies.
That's like my old website, Movie Mobsters. That's been off for about, I don't know, 12 years, 11, 12 years now. If you search for that, it takes you to a nudie site.
Yeah.
Really?
I feel
It
like
does.
everything does at some point.
I think that's fair. If you took porn off the internet, the only website on the internet would be Bring Back the Porn.
Like I typed in Pornhub the other day and it took me to a porn site. It's like, what the fuck?
That's well directed.
I was looking for things about hubs mainly. I typed it in wrong. Anyway, Heather, we're going to end this thing. So our buddy Justin has told us we are supposed to raid it in their chat. So why don't you please go tell us who we're going to go raid, send people to them, and hopefully we'll get them some viewers.
Okay, so this was one of the things I was supposed to do, and hold on.
She's not prepared.
And I'm not prepared.
Please, somebody put another question in the chat. Heather needs 5.
I need more than 5. I need 500.
We'll attract a lot of 14-year-old boys. Well, that's not what we're shooting for.
No, that's not what we're looking for. I mean, it's not that I stop it. Well, now Twitch is not helping me.
Twitch is not helpful. This whole thing's not helpful. Scott, when is the next album?
The next album is going to be called Rhyme Time Sings 16 Christian Classics.
Is it really? Are you really going to commit to that? Are you really going to do it?
No, it probably won't even have 16 songs, and they won't be Christian classics, but that will be the title. And Chance is going to produce all of it. I've got the first 3 songs written. I don't know if it'll be an EP or a full-length album, but yeah, that we're working on that.
That is so fucking meta.
Yeah.
I love it.
I am really excited for it.
If you want a Buddy Christ kind of cover, you let me know.
I have Buddy Christ right here. I can't find the damn raid button.
I think I've got one up.
Justin, can you tell me where the raid button is? We still need your help.
Justin doesn't care. He's got
I've called
people
Buddy
in his chat. He doesn't listen to us anymore.
I've got Buddy Christ out, and I'm trying to use the powers of Buddy Christ here.
Did you really not figure it out? That's so
no,
funny.
I really haven't. Well, I had it on a different screen, so I could monitor that. And
can you pull up a screen right now?
I'm working on it. I thought it was here before, but it's different. Does Soto know how to? Is Soto giving us directions?
I don't know. I think you have to.
There was. Oh, here's the raid channel. All right, here. I think I can press it now.
Okay. Oh, I can hear you talking on our Twitch now.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to press the button.
Okay. So this is the end of it, you guys. We got about 60 seconds. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Love you. Scotty, you're the best.
Love you guys. Thank you, Scott. You're the best.
Anytime. This was so fun. It was
Scott,
good to see you.
KIT, keep in touch, and we'll send you. Me and Justin will send you some fucking shit for your walls.
Can't wait.
Because
awesome.
now all I do in COVID is judge people's backgrounds, so we need more Ninja Turtles there behind you.
Oh yeah, you can tell this is a public space. Didn't have a lot to say on this one.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Night.
It should be going. I pressed the button. I made it happen. Oh, look.